So yeah, those are basically my deepest, darkest secrets, Carl.
Wow.
I've never told anyone
Wow, I can't believe you actually said that.
this stuff before, but it's fascinating.
I clicked live, by the way.
Oh, we're live. Oh, I don't know how much of that was picked up. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? And welcome to... Sorry, I forgot. I've got to do the camera. No, you're on the camera. You're on the camera maybe today, kind of. We'll take it in turns. Yes, welcome everyone to...
No, I had to push the button. I had to climb on the floor last time. I've ruined the intro, haven't I?
We're talking about the 9600X, okay? This was supposed to be some big launch, but it's very much lukewarm. So if your name is Luke, congratulations. This one is for you. I'm going to go through everything, and as you can see, we're going to do a really cool little gaming PC build today, quite literally little. I've got a new case from Lian Li. It's in association with Dan cases. This is the A3 mATX 9600X RTX 4060. And then also we're going for sort of like entry to mid-range on everything else in terms of cooling, power supply, and our motherboard. But it's been a while actually since we've done a live stream, so if you're watching this live, then welcome. Let us know down in the chat what's going on. Ask any questions throughout. That's what this is all about. To everyone that's watching this on the archive, then hope you've had a good day, good week, good months. Don't know when you're watching this. But yes, obviously I hope this video will be useful and entertaining nonetheless. But yes, it's been a bit of a weird launch, to be honest with you, and I thought it would be good to go through everything that's happened as well, because AMD have they sent us these chips and everything didn't exactly go to plan, as Carl and I will talk to you about throughout this stream pretty much. But yeah, really excited to be here. As I say, it's been a while. Shall we just start by talking about the chip itself, shall we, Carl? Yeah. So here we have the new Ryzen 5 9600X, and these were slightly delayed. Rumors have it that it was actually down to like a typo, and they put like the Ryzen 7 9600X, or basically they got like the letters mixed up a little bit on the printing, or it could have actually been a case of the quality of the performance of the chips or something. We're not entirely sure, but essentially this has caused like a knock-on effect. It meant that we as reviewers got these chips a little bit later than we'd like. And it didn't give us that much time to test. So actually something I think I've seen in pretty much all of the reviews so far, bar maybe one, which is pretty much Linus and to some extent Gamers Nexus, but they also had trouble with one of their chips, is that quite a lot of people were just missing data because we literally just haven't had time to test as much stuff as we'd like.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem. The lack of time and aiming for numbers that nobody could actually reach, which didn't. I think I heard Hardware Unboxed said that they were told some numbers.
Oh, really?
They were told, these are the numbers you should be hitting.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're not getting near it. And like, yeah, that's fine. And it was like, huh?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, because I think this is actually the best place to start, but I want to be actively doing something, so we're not just literally standing around talking. We'll walk you through Carl's benchmarking hell, if you like, by starting with the motherboard. And this is an interesting one, because I don't not recommend it, but I would probably suggest most people spend the extra £15–20 and get the next step up. So this is actually an A620M motherboard. So this is still got sufficient features really for most people, but you don't get PCI Gen 5 on this. So you can't get like a super fast SSD or something like that you're probably not going to be using anyway. But for the sake of just a little bit more money, you could step up to the B650 version of this, and I think that's going to have better support, and especially on higher end chips, might give you better performance as well. But as always, we'll grab our motherboard, we'll take it out of the box. This one also comes with an I/O shield, which is like old school. So yeah, there we go. I've used this before, but as you can see, it's a very bare bones motherboard, but this is one of the few A620 boards that actually has 4 RAM slots, which does mean that if you want to upgrade your RAM at a later date, obviously it is much, much easier, which is always good. But now that we do have this out of the box, the amount of like retakes I have to do when we're doing like normal videos, just because I can't lower the motherboard box down properly, and it ruins my flow.
Take closing box.
It's
harder than it looks.
No one ever knows. That's why I have so many cameras, because I'm making so many mistakes all the time. But we drop this down. We can go picture in picture. So you have me, who wouldn't want to see my lovely face. Then we can drop this down, and then I can pick up our chips. So now's the point we can start talking properly about the chips and the experience, Carl. So this is the Ryzen 5 version, and importantly, with this, essentially, in a nutshell, what's happened is this is actually a lot cheaper than the chip that it replaces, the 9600X. I don't know why I said that wrong. I like struggled. This is cheaper than the 9600X.
No, it is the 9600X.
This is cheaper than the 7600X was at launch, okay? I was not expecting this to be as cheap as it is. However, as we know, that still actually puts its price way above its current competitor, which is essentially itself, which is the 7600 and the 7600X. So at the time of filming, this is almost £100 more than the 7600X and the 7600, except now you'll get, best case scenario, maybe 10% extra performance in games, assuming you're CPU limited and assuming the game likes the chip. Like worst case scenario, even if you are CPU bound, you might not really see any difference at all. So it's clearly not going to be worth buying today, this particular chip. But as we know, AMD chips will be coming down in price, hopefully in the coming, I don't want to say weeks, but definitely in the coming months. So don't discount this because it is going to be really important. It is going to be the gaming CPU, would be my prediction over the next couple of years or so. But it's not that at the moment because it is a little bit too expensive. So I wanted to get that out of the way straight away because that's obviously really important. Pretty much the same thing really with the 9700X. Yeah. Just buy the older ones at the moment or buy the 7800X 3D. But you know,
if you have that sort of money, like the $300-ish pounds to spend on a CPU, don't buy anything. Don't buy the new ones. Just buy the X3D. Unless your priority is not gaming.
I think that's pretty normal as well, right? Because unless you're buying something that is like, I don't want to say high-end, but something class-leading. So take something like, I don't know, when it came out, the RTX 3080, the performance of that was so much higher than the thing that it replaced, and the price, if anything, was slightly better, wasn't it? So you got more performance, and it made people rush out to go and buy it. But when you're talking about like mid-range hardware, unless you are competing at the exact same price that they're selling for, or you've got loads more performance, it's never going to be a particularly exciting launch. But this is, as I say, it's still a chip that for gaming is pretty fantastic. You don't really need any more than this unless you've got like a super high-end, like £500 graphics card plus. This should be all you need if you're after a 6-core chip. But yeah, the AMD have kind of just shot themselves in the foot, really, because their own processors are available so cheap. I don't know why this happens though, because like things like GPUs, this hasn't happened with really. I mean, I guess AMD GPUs a little bit, but their price starts really high and comes down. I think the reason for this is because they're scared that if they say sold this chip for £200 in the UK, it will then drop maybe over time to £99. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the only reason the price is too high. Whereas surely what they should be doing is selling it at the price and then maybe over time dropping it by like up to 20-25%, rather than at the moment you're talking.
I thought it was quite funny.
Crazy
discounts.
I
opened up a spreadsheet from like a few months ago, or it was like last year.
You're fun at parties.
Like a benchmark spreadsheet. It had like all the prices of the CPUs in
Yeah.
it. And I was like, oh, how much of the CPUs dropped in like the last like year and a bit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the Intel 14600K, it's down by like £10. 13900K, that's dropped by like 30 quid. Whereas like the Ryzen CPUs are down like £100, 80 pounds. It's like the Ryzen 9 was down like 200 quid. I'm like, that's a big difference.
I think it's because there's quite a lot of disparity as well between what we as PC gamers, people in the know, buy and what we want compared to just like your average Joe. I think, like, I mean, how about this? How many people that go into like Currys here in the UK or whatever your equivalent, I don't know, like Best Buy, something like that, over in the States? How many people know about, who knows what a Ryzen CPU is? That would be an interesting one. Surely a lot of people by now, but I guarantee not as many as you think. And then of those people, who actually know that Intel are having these issues with their CPUs? I guarantee there are far more people that don't have a clue than do. And that's the point. People, just because they've been around for so much longer, that people keep buying Intel. But I think we're probably at the start of the change for that. Anyway, in terms of memory, by the way, we are going for some specific EXPO memory. Vengeance RGB DDR5, 32 gig, 6000 megahertz. Scan UK actually provided this one. Big shout out to them. This is pretty much like I don't want to say the gold standard, but I mean in terms of like the speed and the fact that it's got EXPO and latency, I think this is a CL30. Yeah, I think this is a CL30 kit. That's pretty much is the gold standard for Ryzen at the moment in terms of memory. 6000 megahertz, low latency, 32 gig EXPO, and you're golden. Cole, over to you. Who's in the chat?
We've got plenty of people in the chat. We've got
Yeah.
530 viewers at the moment.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Clearly, you guys have got a lot to say about this Ryzen launch. So how are you finding it so far? Are you on the waste of sand category that I've seen some comments? Or are you on the, I guess, agreeing with me, which is like, very good products, just wrong price?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while until the price becomes reasonable, unless, I don't know, AMD have been known to sort of change their mind last minute and be like, don't worry,
Yeah.
it is actually 50 quid cheaper, don't worry.
Well, speaking of that, that's the thing, right? And here's the thing, okay? AMD, if you're watching, genuinely, from both of us, thank you so much for supplying these samples, okay, to us, because it makes our job way easier, allows us to get the content out like we are now to people. We really appreciate it. However, I'll speak for Carl as well here. You can correct me if you're wrong. I don't want to use the word unacceptable because you can do what you want, they're your chips. But giving us the pricing less than 48 hours before the embargo is borderline unacceptable, because we almost had to start the whole video again and our review all over again, because without the knowledge that these chips were going to be substantially cheaper than the previous generation were, I mean,
At launch.
At launch, how on earth were we to know that these chips were? I mean, we thought, you know, they were really bad because you hadn't told us the pricing. Because it was like, well, you're not going to spend 150, 200 pounds more, or whatever the price difference would have been. If it was 420 pounds or something like that, that would be almost 200 pounds more for essentially very similar performance. So you kind of made your own bed really with that one, and I think you gave reviewers a bad start essentially. And how are we to produce a video that takes us what, 3 days normally?
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah, from like conception to like editing to reviewing it and finalizing everything, all that sort of stuff. The thumbnail.
How are we to do all of that in a day and a half without, you know, working to midnight? I mean, we did manage it, but that was only because I'd kind of predicted that, you know, we managed to cut bits out of our video because essentially the verdict was the same. But we had to cut loads of bits out, and it could have changed the perspective of the review massively. You know, because the context is that the chips I thought were going to be the same price as the previous generation, but actually they're quite a lot more than the previous ones. But yeah, bit frustrating. Please give us more time to review them. But most importantly, give us pricing when you give us the chips, because I don't think it's fair to anyone. It's not fair to you, AMD, because we can't judge your product properly. It's not fair to the audience, because you know they might get a review that's not as good as it should have been. And obviously it's not fair to us because you're making us like essentially do the work twice.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's reasonable.
I think my favourite comment I've seen on one of the videos over the past like day or so was somebody said, AMD never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
They just needed more performance, or like way lower price, but more performance really. I've realised I've got 2 SSDs here. I think we're going with this one because I put it in the description.
Makes sense.
But both of these would be good options, but actually the MP600 Elite is faster and the price isn't crazy different. But P3 Plus is pretty good. I think we need to investigate SSDs a little bit more though, because with P3 Plus I have found sometimes actually that it's not that your system locks up, but you know, like it kind of does for a second. You move your mouse and it jumps.
Yeah.
Where the SSD is like 100% load.
I think it depends if it's got like the. I don't think this one does. If it's got like the DRAM cache.
Yeah, that's it. Precisely. I was going to say I don't know if that one does.
No.
Where's that screwdriver I need?
Behind the case.
Ah, there you are. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but I noticed that if the SSD is going at 100%, then the P3 Plus is noticeably not as good as some of the higher end ones, but for most people still going to be absolutely fine. Save yourself some money. But today we're using the MP600 Elite from Corsair.
I don't know if that has a DRAM cache. It's surprising how few of them actually do, because I think was it the KC3000 from Kingston, like an SK Hynix one. I think there's not many that actually. I don't even think like the 980 from Samsung has one.
But then I've never had an issue with that. It's pretty much only the lower end SSDs. I noticed this. But for context, everyone, this is only really because my download speed is gigabit. So if you're downloading something at full speed, then you notice that your system can, like, again, it doesn't lock up. It just seizes every now and then when you move the mouse. But that isn't going to affect you if you aren't, you know, throttling your SSD, essentially.
Yeah. Or you're doing like 400 gig file transfer over time, they might slow down. Whereas like the DRAM cache ones tend to not slow down.
They can just handle it a little bit better. But I don't know if we're going off on a tangent anyway, and you guys actually want like more info on what we're doing. Apologies, there's just so much to say.
We've not been live for so long.
I know. What was the other thing I was going to say, Carl? Oh yes, importantly. So I think most of them, but obviously do check this. If you're going for a B650 motherboard or anything AM5, obviously this one's A620, and you are going to be buying a 9000 series CPU, do make sure that it can be updated with either QFlash Plus, USB BIOS flashing, whatever it's called for your particular board. This one does have it, which is good. Part of me was actually a little bit surprised
There's really
because there's not much else going on here. But yes, you do have the USB BIOS flashing button, so you won't be able to get this to work unless you've got an up-to-date BIOS. This isn't just an AMD thing. Essentially, this board and the software that it's running doesn't know that Ryzen 9000 is a thing, so we will have to update that with a USB drive, but you can do that without needing an old gen CPU, which is good. Okay, come on, give us some chat, Carl. What's going on in the chat? Who we got? And
everybody's
what we're saying?
hating on the P3 Plus.
Oh, everyone's hating. I thought it was like a fan favorite.
P3 Plus bad. In a weird accent, P3 Plus sucks. Slackery. P3 Plus has no DRAM cache. We know.
Well, what is the SSD of choice for the masses then?
What is the SSD of choice for masses?
I think it is the P3 Plus though, to be honest. I think that's pretty much what everyone goes for.
Well, if you just go to like SSD, top seller, WD Black SN850X, but that's $160. What is the preferred choice?
Let us know down in the comments below. I mean, 990. My choice would be probably like a 990 Pro if it was on sale. Emphasis on the sale price.
Yeah. You just wait till Black Friday or like Prime Day.
But what if you need it now?
You wait. You wait.
Okay.
Wait till November.
Fair enough. I don't know if I'm getting a smell of like puppy wee.
It's not me.
I don't know. Maybe it's my shirt where I picked him up. Apologies if you're getting that through the lens, everyone. That's a thing at the moment. He's not fully house trained. Anyway, yes, this is a pretty interesting case, and I've been wanting to get this out of the box for ages, but Computex was big. It does smell a wee now.
I can smell it now, actually.
Entertain everyone for a second. I'm just going to make sure he hasn't come upstairs.
You just walked upstairs and weed on the carpet.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Thea.
I'm just looking at
It
SSDs.
smells of
the
wee.
UV90, the silicon power one.
We're live streaming, but it smells of wee.
USD for £99.
Well, it's just come up the stairs. Carl can smell it too.
Good shout.
There's no wee. He's not wee.
UD90 looks pretty good.
Apparently there is no wee. I don't
Did you forget that your microphone was on?
No.
Oh.
Well, it's all good, isn't it? It's all part of the fun, really. I don't know. He's never been in this room, so I don't know.
Oh, look, this is a decent looking SSD actually. The silicon power. £99 for 2 terabytes.
But does it have DRAM cache?
Well, this
Probably
is
not.
what I want to know.
We've got one in the drawer. Anyway, back to the important bit. Carl can do the research for a sec while I walk you through this. This is the Lian Li A3. So is it the same size as an A3 piece of paper, do you think? Is that... Yeah, I'd say so.
Maybe, yeah.
I'd say it's
Maybe
about...
that's where they got the name from.
That's probably about right.
The dust filters come loose underneath.
Yeah, do I have an A4 piece of paper somewhere? No. Well, this is A5, okay. And, okay, yes. So this is how we can work it out. So this is A5, okay. So that is then A4, and A3 is two of those.
That's why it's called
so that's why it's called the A3, because it's about the size of an A3 piece of paper, okay? It's a collaboration between Lian Li and Dan, I believe, and it actually is very similar to the Prime case.
Everybody's confused because you said weed.
I didn't say weed.
As in, like, Has the dog weed?
No, the dog has like urinated.
That's how English people say.
What? No, in America you don't say weed.
Going for
as
a
in,
wee.
the dog has weed on the floor.
I don't know. What's the American way?
Exactly. What would you say?
What's the?
I don't understand. What
I don't
the
think they do say
alternative
that,
be?
do they? I've never heard an American saying.
Oh my God, man! He totally weed on the floor. Crazy man. What did they? Oh my God! He had so much to drink. He weed himself. No, that doesn't sound right, does it?
No.
What would you say? He wet himself, man.
He wet himself. Yeah.
I don't. That sounds too English as well.
Soiled himself.
Oh no, he pissed his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's got to be a less sweary version. Anyway.
Pee.
Peed himself. There you go.
That's it.
He peed himself, man. So this is the other option if you're looking at this sort of case. Love this. This is one of my favorites. This is the AP201. This is the Asus Prime case. It is a tough case. And it's ever so slight.
It's a Prime case.
Yeah.
You said
Asus
it's a
Prime.
tough case. You said it's an Asus Prime.
Okay,
it's a tough
right.
case.
All right, fair enough. It's whatever. It's the Asus Prime AP201. And as you can see, it's a fair bit bigger, but not crazy bigger. I think if you can fit this, you can fit this, surely. It's not crazy different.
Well, if you can...
They're pretty much identical when it comes to the length as well. Are they the same in terms of thickness? No, it's slightly thinner. Not by much. It's ever so slightly thinner as well. So point being, this is a smaller chassis than the AP201. But I'm not sure if this is going to be a good thing or not, because I'm not convinced yet by the cable management. But this has been very well received, this case. And if you want, by the way, you can buy it with an optional glass side panel that they sent out along with this case. Boom, there you are. Now you've got a glass side panel. And it's quite versatile. So there's a few different ways you can build inside it. So
it's a bit like the NR200P,
yeah,
but
it's
like micro ATX.
AP201 meets NR200P pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you want to have fans or like cooling at the sides, you can do that. If you want to put fans down the bottom, again, you can do that. But then the motherboard tray is at the back, and it doesn't look as if there's any cable management, as far as I can tell. There could be, but it doesn't look as if there's any cable management at the back, which is a bit confusing, because surely if you're going to go for the windowed panel, then you would want to have your cables run around the back. I don't know. I guess you've got a little bit of room, but whether that's going to take thick power cables, probably not. But maybe like your I/O and stuff.
Have you got a SFX power supply?
No.
Oh.
No, it's got a big gap in this.
Yeah, but it's just going to make a mess, isn't it?
But if you've got the AP201, that easily takes an ATX power supply.
Yeah, it's got room around the back though.
And the whole thing with this as well is it's supposed to be a relatively affordable build. And as soon as you start throwing SFX power supplies in there, it defeats the whole point.
Yeah. Then again, the CPU kind of defeats the point.
Yeah, well, this might be more relevant in the future. If you're watching this and you want to build this exact rig, we would recommend that you either go for a 7700 or you go for a 7600.
Yeah.
Easy. And if you go for a 7600, it comes with a CPU cooler as well.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to buy that if you were trying to save money. But yes, here's
I've got a good question for you here.
Here's your chassis, yeah.
From Michael C.
Michael C.
Is the myth that small cases equals higher temperatures true?
Depends on the case, but yes, generally speaking. Imagine you're standing, I don't know, you're standing in a room, okay? There's 5 of you, and then you make the room smaller. Will the room get hotter?
Yes.
Yes. Now imagine you like make the room twice the size. Will the room get cooler? Yes. Same principle applies. If all else was the same, essentially. But obviously you counteract this by having more fans, more mesh, more places for the air to go. But yes, the more volume of air you have inside the chassis, then that alone will give you better cooling temperatures, as long as you are expelling that heat somehow. Obviously, if it's building up, it's going to get hot.
Like this
regardless.
one's got obviously 4 mesh panels, 1, 2.
Yeah, and you can put fans.
To maybe 2 that you might get on like a regular tower.
You can put fans on the side. Oh, hello. You can put fans on the side, or you can put it on the top, or look, you can put it down here at the bottom. We're not actually going to add any fans here today. We're only no. That doesn't really work, does it? Only mesh.
Only mesh.
Only mesh today.
No fans, only mesh.
But if you're going for a high-end rig, I would absolutely suggest you put some fans inside here. Or just obviously build up to it. This is the other thing, again, I say it all of the time, but don't forget, if you want your gaming PC now, there's like a list of like 80% of the components that you will need, and then that 20% are kind of optional. So things like potentially CPU coolers if you get one in the box, or extra fans and RGB and stuff. You don't need that, so you could buy the first 80% now and then upgrade to that later. I mean, in theory, you could actually do what I did for my first ever gaming PC as well, which is to not buy the GPU and then just run integrated for a month and wait till you got more money and then buy a graphics card. That works as well if you've got an integrated GPU component of your CPU. But yes, here's the case anyway. Quite excited to build in that. Looks as if the power supply is going to go here. So we'll see if Carl has good reason to be worried or not. Yeah, over to you, Carl. Who we got? Look, who's in the chat?
Peter Patter.
Yeah.
He's here he's watching from Australia.
Australia, mate.
12:26 a.m. in Melbourne.
12:20
on Friday.
What, midnight?
Midnight in Melbourne.
They're pretty far ahead.
And 9 hours in the future. That didn't sound very good.
No, it's fine. It was loud. It was fun. God, he totally weed himself, man.
Somebody said, did Kyle pee in the corner? No, Kyle did not.
He might have done. You know what happened when I had my patio done, though?
Has Kyle ever been wrong? No.
Who's Kyle?
Who's Kyle? My name's Carl.
Carl.
Coral.
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 I need some snips.
Snips.
Oh no, there's some snips here.
Snips there.
I've got some snippety snips. Yeah. Yeah. So what are people saying in the chat then? Come on, I have no idea. Are they just having a chat amongst themselves?
They're having a chat amongst themselves.
Okay.
PC Master Race, yeah, is their name. Mini ITX case, space constraint, heat soak issues, limited flexibility. Cooling is always a headache, and you need to plan ahead. That is true. ITX cases are not something you can just sort of.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
The NZXT-H1 is kind of the exception to that, but do they even sell that anymore? I think they do. It's not really up to date though, is it?
No.
That was the whole concept with that. And you can buy a Cooler Master one, has like your power supply and stuff in it as well. All good to go.
Yeah, I like those ones, like the Cooler Master ones that sort of, they'll incorporate like a power supply and a cooler. I like that idea because generally it is cheaper. Don't forget the I/O shield.
I would have forgot the I/O shield.
I just looked at it and just saw the big empty
Here is
void.
the I/O shield. We need to put this into place. Oh, I mean, I'm excited though that we have new hardware launching, because I think the feel people have kind of had this year is there's just obviously nothing's launched at all. You know, you got super GPUs, but everyone knows they were just like kind of tying you over anyway. There was no reason to buy one if you were specifically waiting to upgrade. It didn't really change much, bar the 4070 Ti Super that I keep raving about, and I really do mean it. I'm a big fan of that.
Somebody asked if this is sponsored because there's a 4060 on the table.
No. If you want to buy AMD, buy AMD. I don't care. Happy?
Should I do a poll?
Oh, how much did NVIDIA pay you to say that? They're really on the joke.
Should I do a poll?
I mean, NVIDIA would actually probably more like... I don't know where I'm going with this.
This is quite... It's always funny, though, because you'll do a poll, and people will complain about NVIDIA, and you'll be like, what would you rather buy?
Oh, yeah, it's always
the 4060
4060.
or the 7600, and people will be like, well, I'd rather have a 4060.
Well,
like, you can't help it.
Do you think I should explain then why I've opted for 4060 today rather than something else?
I guess you can explain.
Yeah? Okay. Well, essentially, it's just 4060 is what I would choose over the 7600. My brain just went completely blank for a second there. Over the 7600 because there's not much difference in price, especially in the UK. There are some good deals to be had on the 4060s. There's not much difference in price, and I just think it works a little bit better, and it does give you DLSS, which is just a lot better than FSR. Granted, the latest version of FSR is pretty good, but AMD, in a way, kind of shoot themselves in the foot because you can use FSR on NVIDIA cards anyway, so it's just, do you want to pay an extra 20, 30 quid just to have access to a few more features? I think the answer is yes, and the resale value, I can't say this for certain, but I would imagine you get that 20, 30 quid back when you sell it. What do you reckon, Carl?
I wasn't listening.
That's the right answer.
They said it's a bad selection, though, putting the 4060 up against the 7600.
Is it? Why?
What? Why? How much is an RTX 4060 right now?
Oh, no, because as we've said, you would buy the 7600, not the 9600 if you're buying this today. However, if you're watching this video on the archive, shout out to everyone on the archive, or you're planning your build in 2 or 3 months' time, I would guess that this CPU will come down in price, and as the production... We don't actually know. Do we know if they're discontinuing the 7600? Probably at some point.
I don't know. They still sell every other CPU for the last 5 years, which is weird.
But then did they still sell the 3000 series when they were selling 5000?
Probably. I think you can still buy like a 3900X if you wanted to on Amazon.
Well, we'll see what happens with pricing, but I imagine over time it will become a lot more viable, really. But all the time... here's the question then. We've got a poll going.
Currently, yeah. The RTX 4060 is winning like nobody saw coming.
What was the poll?
That or the 7600.
All right, well, you can kill that. It's dead. Get rid of it. Who won?
The 4060 by 63 to 37.
There we go. Told you. Obviously, buy what you want. As I say, I would take the 4060 because it's not much more money. And that was the question I said to you, Carl. If you bought a 4060, that £30 or $30 or whatever extra that you're paying, would you, in your opinion, would you get that back when you sell it on the used market?
Probably, yeah. You could probably sell that in a year's time for, say, 200 as opposed to the 7600 you might sell.
Like 170?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you see, we agree, we're on board with that. I have missed out a screw, haven't I? Standoff, but you know what? I'm not going to put that in there because YOLO. It'll be right, probably.
Yeah.
So yes, the new poll is how much more would you pay for the 9600X over the 7600X? My answer, honestly, 25 quid, maybe 30. No, 25 quid, that's it, because there's not a dramatic difference between the two. And that will be the issue, is that it's going to be a long time until the gap is that small. But if AMD, from business hat on, if AMD are sensible, they just like discontinue the 7000 series of like non-X chips and then just swap over. But they probably won't do that. But that would be the way to get people to buy the new ones. Don't sell the old ones. But yeah, they don't do that. Anyway, this is the motherboard now as you can see. It's not going to matter too much today about perfect cable management because we're going to use the mesh panel. But if you're using the glass panel, obviously that would be a little bit more tricky. We're going to plug in the I/O now as well, just by undoing this little cable. What do you reckon? You're in deep thought. I can see it over here.
Yeah, I was just checking how much the 7600X is. It's 7600X is 195. The 7600 is 175. So it's like, well, you'd rather just buy the 7600 price. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're going to buy that anyway.
If you're watching this, buy the last gen because it's the best gaming CPU all round. It really, isn't it?
It's just like.
I'm plugging in the USB-C. Now I'm plugging in the USB 3. If you can see that, I'll try and get my fat head out of the way. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. That's in. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Carl. Keep going.
It's just really hard. There's no reason to buy the new one. There's no reason. Because if you want better, non-gaming performance, just buy the 8-core 7700.
It's literally just like Intel with their TikTok cycle, which is kind of sad, isn't it, that we've gone back to that? I thought we'd got past that.
Earlier, yeah.
It's, it's like, oh, we've got a new chip and it's slightly better than the last one. But then I'm pretty sure Intel did ramp down the production quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember it being as much of an issue with Intel because they were better, but they were at the same price. But like you say, because the Ryzen's dropped so much, they kind of make their own bed on that, really. There you go. Right, I/O is plugged in for the most part. Just the front panel. Well, it's nicely all cable managed for you, look. So.
Is the front panel in one connector?
Yeah, it is. It's very rare now for cases to not do that, which is great. That is the bane of...
Do you know what I did see the other day, which I was quite impressed with? The XT View has a all-white HD audio cable.
That's very good.
Pure white.
Even that?
Every bit was white.
I get why it's not, because it's probably quite difficult to do. That doesn't mean it's not worth doing.
Yeah. Looks so much nicer. Does the NV5 have that? You probably didn't plug it in, did you?
No, I think it's the same.
Yeah.
I think it's the same. I did plug it in, actually, but yeah, I think it's the same.
I'm wondering how many people use the front panel audio connector. That's a good poll. Do you use the front panel audio connector?
I reckon most people plug it in. Whether you actually use the connector is a different story. But there we go. Right, anyway, here is our rig, look. Pretty much good to go. Just got to add the CPU cooler. I should have done that first.
How many
I've got the
M.2
Wii smell
slots?
again. Have you got that?
A little bit.
Maybe it's just from handling the dog.
Well, I didn't handle it.
He's a little
I can
puppy.
smell it.
He doesn't understand. He wheezes on himself.
Look at that ice cream.
I know that was the gag. We've discovered that one of our local petrol stations, gas stations, sells plantain.
Yeah.
So we go and buy them now, put them in the air fryer for 10 minutes, have it with some ice cream. Oh, it's the best thing ever.
And it looks like that.
Yeah, that was the joke with the ice cream. You
strong
imagine
shape.
you've got half of a banana shape in the middle, guys, and then like a ball of ice cream on the left and one on the right. That's what Carl's just seen on the Google display, and it's made him chuckle.
Yeah. A very strong looking shape.
Strong shape. What am I doing now? I'm doing the CPU cooler, aren't I? Which I should have done on top of the box. Sorry, guys. I've let everyone down here. CPU cooler-wise, I am so glad. Thank you to everyone, by the way, that did actually watch the video yesterday. If you haven't watched it already, obviously watch it after this. The 9700X video, where Bench Carl made his second debut. 2 caps.
I don't think you can make a second debut.
Well, he made his second debut, and yeah, he did a very good job. So, thank Carl / no, well, no, you haven't done anything actually, have you, Carl?
Who? Me?
Yeah, you didn't do any
No, it was
benchmarking.
editor Kyle. Well, actually, I
Who are you?
I'm Kyle.
You're Kyle. Well, Bench Carl did all the results.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've introduced yourself as editor Carl.
I think I did, yeah.
So editor Carl's here. Bench Carl's still benchmarking all of the other chips. Yeah.
Like, editor Carl did the voiceover, but Bench Carl did all the work.
Slaving away. This is just his way of getting like extra remuneration, isn't it? You have 2 pay slips.
Bench Marcus has just been down a pub all month.
Yeah, that's true.
He's
I haven't
MIA.
seen him in a while actually. I still like that Benchmarkus used to be known as Benchmark Marcus for a while until someone pointed out that was silly. Cooler that we're using. It's kind of annoying and I think stupid, but AMD don't give you a cooler in the box with this Ryzen chip because it's a 65-watt chip. So why are you not giving us a stock cooler? They will say, if you ask them, well, according to our research, I think you'll find most people actually don't use the stock cooler. So we're trying to preserve the planet a little bit, save on shipping, save on CO2 and e-waste. In actual fact, they just want to drive up the margins, don't they? Let's be honest, because I think a lot of people would use the stock CPU cooler. On a Ryzen 7, I kind of get it. Still be nice to do it. But on a Ryzen 5, to not give you a CPU cooler in the box, especially when it's a 65-watt chip, I think is mean.
Yeah.
Bad mean, not good mean.
That was always like, you can tell that AMD are definitely in like the superior position now.
Yeah, because they're just a bit more businessy.
Ruthless, yeah. It's like, I remember like the Ryzen 5 2600 and everyone was like, oh, it's so good, it comes with a cooler, you don't even need to upgrade.
Yeah.
That's so much money saved over the Intel competition.
Not no more.
And that's the problem with Intel kind of sucking at the moment. AMD don't have to try.
Yeah, we haven't really spoken about the Intel stuff much either. By the way, this is the Arctic Freezer 34 esports duo. Everyone that watched the video yesterday, that was the end of that tangent. I was going to say, I'm so glad I was not the only one that struggled to install that CPU cooler. Oh my God, that was the worst experience I've had. Apparently it's fine on Intel, but just not on AMD. The mounting mechanism was crap. Today we've gone for this white cooler. It's probably still a little bit overkill, but as there aren't many fans, or there aren't any fans that come in this case, I actually would probably rather have like a slightly better 2-fan cooler, just to essentially use that as your airflow, than have a smaller cooler and then buy extra fans. I don't know, what would you do? This is about £48 at the moment. Would you rather buy a £30 cooler and a couple of fans for the case, or would you rather just have this and upgrade your fans later?
Depends on... yeah, I think I'd rather just go for like a big air cooler.
Yeah, because you can have the fans later, right?
Have you seen like the Thermalright ones? They're like...
Big.
Massive, and they're like £35. They're like, the pricing on them is unbelievable.
I need to get some in. They're in my Amazon shopping basket, like saved for later, but haven't
Yeah.
actually got around to it yet.
My save for later has like 100 items in it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for that discount to randomly come in.
Right, now the question is, how do I get these installed? I'm going to go with it's the same as last time.
Everybody keeps asking how much this PC costs.
Quick maths.
I don't know.
My aunt is calling me. Sorry, Beryl. Apologies.
I don't know how much this PC costs. How much is that? 100-ish?
Okay, so the motherboard is about 120, but I recommend you go for the B660 version, which is about 135. Power supply, if you can get it on a good day, about £80. If you get it on a bad day, more. So you'd get something else. 4060 on a good day is about £350, £360.
Like 280.
That's the one. 250, £260 on a good day.
280.
No, I looked earlier. I saw there was one for $250.
Oh yeah, I looked on Newegg. That's dollars.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. This isn't very helpful. Case is about just under £80, about 77. Chip, the one we recommend.
Rivstar said about 1050, £1,050.
Do we trust him?
Yeah.
Don't know. I sent him a case. I said he got a case the other day,
Did.
and he hasn't sent me a picture to show that it's been built yet. So I don't know. We'll see. When it's built up, I'd say we can trust him again. But apparently, he criticises people's power supplies.
Rivstar is a power supply critic.
Yeah, so apparently Rivstar told someone to buy a high-end power supply, and then, what's the word? Kind of like...
Flamed them for
That's
not
the
doing
one.
it.
Flame them for them buying an expensive power supply. That's what the rumours in the Discord say, by the way. As a link to this...
He said, I'm building it today, calm down.
Yeah, he's doing it as like a build-along with this. Have we put a link in the Discord, by the way, to say that we're live?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, boys. Like to hear it. Right, what I'm doing now is getting our CPU cooler installed.
Daddy has entered the chat.
Oh, it wouldn't be a live stream without Daddy. We love Daddy. Daddy wasn't there.
Daddy wasn't there.
Dead? Daddy?
Underrated film.
It's so good. It's like the cleaners laughing at him.
Yeah. It's the same cleaner.
The same
from
cleaner
the
from-
graduation.
Oh, we like Austin Powers. It's funny.
Good movies.
Right, shall I assume that this goes this way around? Oh no, that doesn't even go on there, does it? That doesn't even fit. That's because it's... Hey? What's going on here?
Oh no.
Oh, it must be like
You're
that.
not
then.
trying to put a mounting plate on it, are you?
Yeah?
What?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I can't
Maybe
see,
it's that
can't
way.
see what's going on.
It's alright, it's that way. Yeah, I got it. No
Easy.
sweat, no panic.
sweat, no
Easy, mate. At least I think it's like that. The manual's on the phone.
On the phone.
It doesn't fit this way round.
It's like, hello, Marcus, I'm here.
Does not fit the other. Look, that physically.
You should move the
It does actually.
computer over to the right and your body. Oh,
There we go. Right.
you can lose that.
No, let's just wing it. I was going to say let's do it on my phone. Well, you can do it. You can do it quickly. The instructions. Which way round is it? I think it's this way.
Does it not have like on the side again? The left and right.
Those look like Intel bits to me. On there.
Is it
But where's the fun? Like if you don't, if you don't kind of just wing it, where's the fun in that?
Fraser 34
Yeah.
instructions.
Yeah. You just put it in the hole and hope for the best. That's my.
AMD socket. Remove all of the plastic.
I've done that.
Place the mounting clips downwards like this.
Yeah. So like kind of facing up.
Facing upwards, yeah. So you shouldn't be able to see any like the thread poking through.
Yeah. These are the right screws. I'm not convinced that they are. But then I'm pretty sure they were in the box. They must be.
Someone said, bruv, why are you this dirty?
Because that's the fun. Like, if you want a perfectly put together video, you go to someone else. But like, I like to live
He
dangerously.
likes having all the bags in the shot.
Are they still in the... Oh, we're talking about that, are we? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, but then you can see what's going on.
It's just like empty bags. I don't need to see that.
I think I've used the wrong screws. I'm quite sure I've used the wrong screws. So, but it's not going to be these, or is it? All right, maybe it is. What screws am I using, Carl?
Mounting screws. It just says screws in brackets. Mounting clips.
Eh?
Don't know. They look a bit like a motherboard screw.
Well, that's what I've got. Eh?
That's what it says.
Why does it say 2 then?
Oh,
We need 4, but there's only 2.
2 go in the middle.
Eh? No, what? Eh? Where are the screws? I'm not even using radiators today.
Oh, this is AM4.
No, it's AM5, which is basically the
Oh,
same.
no, it says the same. Yeah. Installation.
I mean, it's definitely not that.
Have you? Wait, yeah. So you screwed all the posts in, yeah?
No,
You not screwed any posts in?
no. What am I using? Oh, well, there you go. So I need to put the posts in.
That'll help. Yeah.
Yeah, that will
I
help.
thought you'd
Okay.
worked that bit out already.
Yeah, well, I'm under pressure. I'm trying to talk to the lovely people at home.
They should be called AMD socket AM4 standoffs.
What, do they have notches on them?
They got one notch on them.
Just the one, okay.
Yeah, and you want to put the thicker side facing downwards.
Okay, thank you. This is why you need Editor Carl, everyone, because it does make it easier. There you go, look. You would have thought I've never built a gaming PC before in my life, honestly.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
It's not, it's just heavy editing. So guys, we're now putting this down. It looks like I've got it perfect every time. Although people saw what it's actually like in this studio when I did the radiator last time. I think the length of that video, bear in mind, yesterday's video, that was 32 minutes long.
I think it was longer.
It was about, let's call it 30. For the sake of argument, let's call it 30.
I think it was like 36 minutes.
No, it wasn't
Yeah, it was
that
a long boy.
Was it?
Yeah. 37 minutes, 13 seconds.
Well, it took longer than that for me to install the CPU cooler, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you watch that video again and then imagine you're struggling to install a CPU cooler, that's what it was like.
You spent 33 minutes just trying to screw it down.
What screws am I putting on the top? The caps.
Right. And then you peel off the peel, put some thermal paste on it.
No, no, I'm screwing I've put the bar down.
Thumb nuts. You want some thumb
Yeah,
nuts on it?
yeah.
Go on,
Thank you. We got it.
Andy Martinez says, "Love you guys. Watch this channel religiously."
Oh, that's good. Well,
you,
we
Andy.
like to be helpful, don't we?
Andy, do you know Lissandro Martinez? Is he related to you?
Right, okay, so the posts are now on this. I should have zoomed this camera in a little bit more, but we're at the end of the lens. Apologies. Wow, my hand looks weird. Look at that!
Whoa.
What is that? That's weird. That's a wide angle camera for you. Whoa. Anyway, I'm not like on anything, I promise. I am a child, yeah, that's it. Okay, then the cooler should just drop down into position pretty much, shouldn't it? So
Yeah,
we'll make sure we've got everything plugged in properly. You can add another fan to this if you want. Or at least, like, you can daisy chain it, obviously. Yes, okay, so this will just go down into position. Always make sure that the fans are actually blowing the orientation you want. It'd be very rare for you to have it the other way around, but you might be doing it if you're doing reverse flow or something. Then that should just sit in position like that.
Have you put the things on top of the cooler already?
Yeah, is that wrong?
These things.
What?
These like plate bits. Have you got them on there already?
What plate bits?
Those bits. Have you?
I've done that.
You've done that? Are you sure?
Yeah.
No.
What? So these go on after?
They go on the top of the.
Oh, you gave me bum info.
I've literally got. You can see it. It's there.
So you're telling me posts go on, then you put the bars on.
You do this first. This is step one.
Okay. We can't even put an air cooler on properly. This is embarrassing. And by we, I mean you. It's always easier if you blame someone else. That's my family's motto. Right. Thermal paste, you get inside the box. I'll change the camera so you're not bored. Look, there, it's me. Hello, happy. Now we can go back to where we were. We get our thermal paste. Don't worry too much. Like, you can't really put too much on, so better to have too much than not enough. It just gets a bit messy when you like take it off again, but it doesn't really matter. Then you want to put this on top, according to Editor Carl. Just like that. Although it would also be easier if you'd taken the fans off first, which I haven't. So, how do the fans come off? How do the fans come off?
The hooks. Unhook them.
I can't see them.
They're not invisible.
Oh, they're slightly different to normal. Look. Oh, how interesting. They don't clip around the whole thing. They go into some holes. Okay, so fans are coming off. How weird.
Oh.
This isn't the easiest CPU cooler. I don't think it's necessarily difficult. I think it's just different.
Isn't there a new one? A Freezer 36?
Yeah. But this one's white.
Oh. Get the 36. It's way easier to install. The fans are like magnetic and just stick on.
Yeah. They sent me both of these at the same time, so I assumed that they're both still selling.
I think yeah, you can still buy it. I think it's just old.
Yeah, but this one's more expensive, and I think it's got more mass to it. I think this is probably a higher-end cooler. Right, okay, well, we're there now. This one goes down, look. This could have been easy if I'd done it properly in the first place. Then the bars go on top, look. There we are, look. And then that, there you go, makes sense. Then it catches into place. Okay, so if you're not a numpty, or you've just listened to PC Centric and Editor Carl before you've bought this cooler, then that was actually straightforward enough to install so far. Just maybe I should have read the instructions.
So there is actually a Freezer 36 in white that is available for less than this one.
But then is it a higher end cooler?
Yes, the new one.
Well, no, it might not be a straight replacement though.
I don't know. 20 to 26 pounds for the Freezer 36.
Oh wow, there we go. Does it look the same sort of size? 2 fans.
You've used it before.
Yeah, I've forgotten.
It's the one that's like the fan's just like it just stuck on, and you quite like
that looks almost smaller, or yeah, that looks smaller, doesn't it? It was a good cooler, especially on Intel. It worked really well.
Yeah, it's only 20 quid.
Yeah, I know. It's insane, isn't it?
I typed in Freezer 36, and I got 36 centimeter chest freezer.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind a chest freezer. I've got a lot of fruit that needs freezing.
I always think though, with like a chest freezer, is it not really awkward and just like?
But that's kind of the point though, because you're not taking up space with drawers and things. It's all capacity, you know. But so yes, it's untidier, but it's got a better capacity for the space, I think.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Chest Freezers with Editor Carl and PC Centric. If you need any advice on freezers, yeah. I can tell you the one I have is a Hisense one, and it's got three compartments, and the middle one is a drawer that you can set to be frozen or fresh. So like, what, 3-4 degrees or -18? That's pretty cool.
When did the X3D come out?
I like how there's no reference to that. You just,
yeah, I'm
move on.
ignoring.
Yeah, X3D, when did that come out?
Last year.
That was, yeah, it was about February. Yeah, it was about February last year.
Was it?
100%.
God.
Might have been March, but definitely around that time. 100%.
So yeah, we could be waiting until February, March next year for maybe.
Yeah.
If they follow a similar pattern.
I mean, how's the poll going? Because I'm ready for a new poll, actually.
How much would you pay for the 9600X?
Yeah. What did people say about that?
I gave the options of 10, 20, 30 and 50.
And what did people say?
What did you think? 10.
Lowest. Always the lowest.
Someone said, why didn't you put 0?
It's a straight replacement. It's a fair response.
It is a straight replacement, to be fair.
Now, the new poll is how much more performance does the 9800 X3D need to have?
Depends how much money it costs.
Assuming it launches at the same price as the old one, so let's say RRP 450, which is lower than what it was, but let's say it launches for £450. How much extra performance does it have to, does it need to have? I think that's a fair question.
Just like ignoring price.
No, not ignoring. I've just told you, £450, $450. How much?
But it's not gonna. It's gonna come out if it comes out at that money, and then it's like 320 for a 7800 X3D. You're still not gonna buy it.
Well, that's what the poll's for. How much more performance does it need to have for you to consider buying it?
How much more performance?
does it need to have for you to consider buying it? I think that's a solid question. Why are these clips like this? I don't like that. Don't like that at all. It's not very easy. It's not really difficult, but it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, what's going on with these clips? What the hell?
What percentage numbers shall I give? 10, 20, 30, 40? Well, people just going to choose 40.
Yeah, I guess it's not an open question, is it?
Yeah.
How do these bloody things work, by the way?
I just put yes and no.
Why does everything bad happen?
0 to 10.
I mean, are these just the wrong way round? I'm having trouble here. What is it with Arctic and difficult installation mechanisms, honestly?
I could just hear like you're moaning like 20 seconds later in my ears.
Why
does everything bad happen?
Isn't that the dream? Okay, I think I've worked it out. But yeah, these coat hanger clips are rubbish. They do work, but they are rubbish. Like, what's wrong with the old way of doing it, honestly? Okay. Now that's honestly. And if you're, it's rubbish. Is this why people tune in, for me moaning at stuff?
Yeah.
Or is this when they leave? Depends who you are, really, doesn't it? People came for the dog weeing on the floor.
There was just some like, really loud grumbling noises in my ear. I think it's as you like leant over and like just like
grumbling.
It was like your neck was just like vibrating on the microphone. I think.
Sorry about that.
It was just like.
What was it like? Sorry.
Hold on, I might do it again in case it picks it up again.
Quite enjoyed that. Right. So this, just the clips are just a bit naff. You've got to insert them into a hole you can't see. Ugh. I like how you said Marcus was screwing for over 35 minutes in yesterday's video as well. I liked the...
he was screwing for 33 minutes.
Choice of words.
Yeah.
It's not bad, that. Solid effort.
Solid, to be screwing for 33 minutes is a solid effort.
Would prefer it was shorter. Got things to do. Oh my God!
What was that? Where'd it go?
That could have got in your eye. That's not on the health and safety report. Jeez. Watch it on the replay. Look, is that gonna?
Oh, it went this way.
Yeah, it went straight for you. Ridiculous. I told you they're not great.
The bit on the right looks. You're standing out of frame, Marcus. This is why you need to tidy up the table.
Well, I'm focusing on something else.
Wait, you're meant to be live.
I am live. That bit doesn't change.
You're presenting.
I'm presenting. Oh! I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
Maybe you only need one fan. It's only 65 watt. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll put it somewhere else. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Stick it on the VRM. It doesn't have any cooling anyway.
I don't get it. I just don't get it, mate. I don't get it. Ugh.
So right. The Freezer 36, yeah, big fan. Literally.
Yeah. No. It's
the stick-on fans.
Like anything after yesterday is an improvement, but what is this all about? Because it's supposed to go on nice and easily. They're all supposed to go on nice and easily. There you go, look. That's it. But then it just comes out. It doesn't live in there very well. Okay, right. So that would be in there. In there like swimwear. But then it just comes out again.
I feel like you're doing it wrong.
I'm not doing it wrong. And if I am doing it wrong, they should make it so you can't do it wrong.
That's not how things work.
This is the issue.
You just put one in the bottom and one in the top and spin around.
It doesn't.
It's simple.
It's
I'm
simple.
looking at this GIF.
It's not simple.
Marcus now also hates air coolers.
No, I don't. Air coolers are great. You leave them alone.
He just hates Arctic, it seems.
The irony is, the 36 was so easy to install, and the contact frame was fantastic. So,
aren't you supposed to do that before putting the motherboard in the... Well, yeah, that's usually how you would install an air cooler.
but
He's too far in now.
it's
Maybe
too
it
far
would
gone.
be easier to
No,
take
look,
the-
there you go. One more clip to go. One more clip to go. Oh, wait, that's the one that was on the floor.
Where is it?
It attacks you. I'm disappointed people didn't get a proper view. I mean, it's clearly gone. It's underneath your chair.
Oh.
It is gone so far. It could go the distance. That was a good reference there. If you know that, well done.
Oh, that was also one thing I was curious about. I remember, because obviously I watched the announcement video again for the AMD thing the other day
Yeah,
to like get some screen grabs.
yeah.
And they were boasting that it had the 9950X has 80 megabytes of cache. I don't know if that's a combined
Yeah, I was thinking that.
of the,
Like,
or is
yeah.
that, or is that 90 megabytes of L3 cache?
Yeah,
no, it's exactly the same. It's the same cache as the 7950X.
it might be slightly different, but yeah, in terms of numbers, yeah. See, what's happened? It's happened here again, Carl. It does not. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Is that better? Is that the one? Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it was upside down. No, it's not. It was not upside down.
You put the bottom one in first.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. It's in.
This is some premium viewing right now.
There you go. That people like my scalp. They pay good money for that. Oh.
Definitely easier to put it in before putting it in this case. Yep, that's usually what he would recommend
Yeah,
doing.
it is, but at the same time, I don't think that would help you at all, because the problem is not seeing what you can do. It's just that these clips are almost just not lining up where they're supposed to. And it makes you wonder if you're doing something wrong.
Maybe if you unscrew the motherboard, it'll be a lot easier.
No. Look, that should just go in the hole, but it does not. And I'm scratching up my lovely white CPU core. Whew.
Maybe you got it upside down.
I can't, because that one's in. They're all in fine, aren't they now? Something is amiss. Something is awry. They're the same. Both ends are the same.
They can see the back of my scalp now.
Again, people pay good money for that.
I think it's not quite hooking in further enough.
Yeah, but all of the others, right? All of the others, I did the top one first, and it was fine. So why? Look, this is my point. Like, why, when you do that, that should clip in.
It's not in the bottom.
All right, there you go. We're in. We're cooking on gas, I think, now. Maybe I should have done this before I put it in the case. I think that might have helped.
Editor Carl hairline reveal.
You've still got a good hairline, haven't you?
Yeah, luckily.
Doing well for the
There's
old timer that you
There's
are.
a lot of greys in it, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Who's grey?
Andy.
And whoa! He is pretty grey.
That's not even what I meant. I meant Andy Gray, as in the...
You're saying
The former
eTechnics has
footballer.
a full head of grey hair. That's what
No,
you
that's
just...
not what I said.
That's exactly what
I
you
meant
said.
Andy Gray.
No,
as
you
in
don't
the
try and
former
weasel out of
footballer.
it. You've just said it. Sorry, Andy. Truth apparently hurts.
God, that's what you get.
Right.
Live stream.
You can't lie that it is what you said.
No, I meant Andy Gray.
Yeah, it doesn't
as
matter
in,
what you
like,
meant.
The Scottish former footballer commentator. who
What, the
was-
one that made sexist comments?
Yeah,
and
that
got,
one. And
yeah.
then he like got shipped off to somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Okay, right. We did it in the end. Sorry about that.
Really easy to install. 100% recommend.
I don't hate it enough to not recommend it. It was fine. It was just that one is a read the instructions first job, I would say.
And install the cooler outside of the case.
Yeah, but it wouldn't help you much in this. That was
you
not.
could, like lift it up and like rotate it.
It would help you a little bit, but I don't think it would make a crazy difference, to be honest.
You can get a free 36 ARGB white for £32.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
But then we haven't tested that on AMD, but it was very good on Intel, so.
But it's very easy to install, and that's all that matters.
Well, it's not all that. The stock CPU cooler is pretty easy to install.
The Intel one isn't though.
No, that's a right pig. Don't like that at all. Woo! Okay.
You can relax a bit now.
What else is going on in the chat? Are people taking the mic? Or are they being nice?
Today's struggles of building a PC showed only on live streams so people can actually see the time it takes to build a PC.
Well, the problem is, though, sometimes, Carl can vouch for me here, sometimes it's absolutely fine, though, isn't it?
What?
Sometimes the PC builds go fine. There are no issues, no hassle, it just works. Others, it's a bit more questionable.
Yeah.
But this was okay. Would you agree for a disaster, that wasn't really a problem, was it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We're an hour and 10 minutes in, and we've got the motherboard inside the case.
Need that sweet, sweet watch time. That's all it was. I actually could have done it in seconds, but
it was yeah. It's all a ploy.
All a ploy. Right, here we are. Look, picture in picture. You can have me twice.
Here's my head and my head again.
Woo! Yeah. Anyway, looking good so far. If we were to get that
have you got
optional,
a white power supply?
£10. No. If we were
why
gonna...
was the white cooler such a big deal if you've not got a white power supply?
It was because you would see it if it was a black cooler through the mesh, I think. Look, there you go. It looks quite nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it looks fine.
Needs a GPU in there.
Needs GPU in there. Okay.
Or probably power supply would be the idea.
Well, that's all we got to add. Just 2 more bits.
We're nearly there.
We're nearly there. Except you have got me worried because you say that the power supply might be an issue. So let's find out. Pure Power 12, Be Quiet ones, you often have to pay a little bit of a premium, but if there was ever a brand of power supply that I think is pretty much great at all price ranges, Be Quiet. You know what you're getting, good, quiet, reliable cooling. Yeah, fan does cooling. Reliable power supply. Just availability is a bit meh sometimes because they're a European brand. So if you're in the States, obviously you might have to look at something else. But yeah, I really like them. Just make sure you... Where am I going with this?
Be Quiet is
make sure you don't overspend.
And good.
Yeah, clues in the name. I don't know, it's really hard to get excited about power supply. Wait, I'll tell you what, we do something here. Wait, where's my buttons? Where's my buttons?
What are you trying to do? Fade to black?
No, don't ruin it. It was going to be a surprise. Where's the button? There it is. Right. So let's try this again. Oh my God, guys, we've got this really exciting power supply for you. This one is from a company called Be Quiet. Clue is actually in the name. Really quiet, reliable power supplies, actually. This is a 650 watt version. Should be all you need for this rig. Obviously, if you want to go for like a high-end GPU at a later date, you can go for that. But good price to performance of this if you're looking for a higher-end PSU. Happy? That's what
I'll wait for Rivstar to give his opinion on power supplies.
No, he wants you to go too high end. I think he would
He'll
say
probably tell you to get 1200 watt in there.
1500 watt
80
unit.
plus titanium.
Yeah. But I'm only going for a 4060. Yeah, but you might upgrade. He might leave.
The thing is, I don't disagree with that idea because a power supply.
A what?
A power supply. A power supply can literally just last you for years.
Yes.
Like 10 plus years, and you're like, huh, I don't really know what to do with it. It still works. It's still fine. Like, I think I've got like an EVGA one, 750G2, I think it is. I think it's at least 10 years old. I'm like, what do I do with it? There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I've got one that I think is not working anymore because my that water-cooled PC with the RM850 from 2015.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 2016.
Yeah.
That one, that might be the problem. It might not be, but that PC is turning itself on and off all the time, and that's going to be my first port of call. Will be to replace the power supply and see if that fixes it. So they don't last forever, but yes, they're pretty much the component that you'll have for as long as you can. There's no reason to change it out unless you need it.
I suppose the good thing in theory is with them, like if it does die, and you do buy an expensive good one, they do have like 10.
That's
maybe,
true.
or
They have good
8
warranties.
years
Yeah.
warranty. You could be like, oh, we know it's still in warranty, even if it is 9 years old. Is that meant to happen?
Well, look, you've got this little cage in here. That looks like a power supply sized cage, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, but then you also have this bracket here, because I think you can put it in different locations.
Did you look at the instructions?
No, because that would be boring. We don't need instructions. I am the instructions. In my defense as well, right, I think if, maybe that's like an SFX adapter. I think if it's not easy to work out, then that means it could have been designed better. Okay, that's what I would say. This front panel just pops off. Could have done that ages ago.
That would have made it easier.
Would have probably made it easier. And then just like the Prime.
Is that plastic, that front piece?
Yes.
Oh.
But again, 77 quid for this case is pretty good.
It?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
And it's fairly new, so I think over time it might drop to about 60. But I'm liking it so far. I hope that there's a bit of cable management, because the AP201, you do have that little bit of room around the back, and I think that could be quite useful. Right, okay. So surely power supply goes in here. You can actually put a 360 rad in this as well, I like to
Yeah, I
add.
see that on like the side panel. Or the top. Fan wants to be facing
No. Sorry.
into the case.
It's got, if we look on the top, look, it's got an SFX adapter plate
Already installed.
So we
See,
just,
like I said, why have you not got an SFX PSG? That's what they're expecting.
no, because they're more
That's what they're
expensive.
expecting.
Well, it wouldn't make any difference if you've got to use an adapter, would it? Anyway, that adapter plate, look, it's out. It's gone. We don't need it.
In the bin. Put it in the bin.
Put it in the bin. Well, I've started giving away old cases that I've been using on the channel via Discord. If you're watching in the UK, go over to the Discord. There's now like a dedicated used PC case giveaway UK only. That's where I'm gonna, like, you know, when one comes up, just pay postage, I'll ship it to you. And the guy today, when I was shipping it up, he's got a Lian Li A3 Vision, and I was like, I've thrown all the hard drive cages away. Please tell me you don't have any hard drives. And he's like, no, it's fine. So it's a few, because otherwise that would have been sad times. But they're big and heavy, and they're difficult to get rid of. And if it helps people out, I think it's nice to be able to give them away, rather than. Well, see, what do you do with cases? The manufacturers don't want them back, so I don't know. I guess you could sell them if you really wanted to, but they're used and there might be missing bits and things, and it's just nicer to help people out, really, isn't it? So, right, okay. So fan facing the back, surely.
Must be, yeah.
Because it's not gonna be the front, is it? Because it's got a. It's solid. Solid.
Yeah, if that was mesh, that would make more sense.
Do they do a mesh version of this?
Don't know. What is it called? Dan Case A3.
No, Lian Li A3 mATX. But there is a wood version coming out, I believe. Didn't we see it at Computex?
Lian Li A3.
Yeah, where's my screws?
Cross Dan.
Don't worry about the Dan, it's just A3.
It says Dan in the name.
Well, some sites do, others don't.
Is there a mesh bit? No.
No mesh
Just a
front.
plastic front.
Yeah, I don't really know why there's no mesh version on the front. I guess because that's the bit you see, maybe? I don't know. The AP201 is mesh on the front. Stops noise, I don't know. Could be a few different reasons.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, sorry, we're still on
It's
that.
probably just cheaper, isn't it?
You've had to just watch a little tiny window, guys. Sorry, there you go, you
Sorry.
got me back.
I was looking at the AP. Nope. A3.
You've been busy. Have you been doing any of the camera changes, or was it all me?
It's just you.
Okay.
My job is research and development.
We need a third person. R&D Carl.
Yeah. I look up prices of things and see.
I'll send it to the R&D department.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And
When are you going to end the poll?
Oh, is it
Right,
done?
good shout, Cyclops.
What have people said?
They want 21 to 30% more performance,
Yeah.
which is 40%.
That's not going to happen, is it?
32% said 11 to 20%.
It's going to be disappointing, because if the max we're getting on the other stuff is a 10% performance jump, surely it's going to be the same. So it'll be better than the X3D. So it will still sell, because it, in theory, should be, unless Intel's chips are really good, the best of the best. So people are always willing to pay for the best of the best.
Oh, they got
right?
their new, like, NPU style ones soon, haven't they?
Arrow Lake.
The desktop ones, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they've kind of
We'll see how that goes.
upset their own launch a little bit there, haven't they? I don't know, but that's the next thing. A lot of people have, not a lot of people to be fair, some people have asked why we haven't publicly spoken about the whole Intel thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think if we're honest, the reason we haven't spoken about it properly is because we've been on holiday, respectively.
Yeah.
And the story has been coming out slowly, and I haven't wanted to sort of say anything without all the information, and more information keeps coming out. So actually the way people like Gamers Nexus do it is clearly the right way of doing it. When something new comes out, you make a video straight away. Whereas if you're just waiting for the whole story, it's, in this instance, taken ages. So the context for that, when I say the whole story, is obviously we're now still awaiting Intel's fix, which is going to be a BIOS update that isn't out yet. So we will obviously test that and see what difference that makes. But the damage has already been done, really, in terms of, I think there's plenty of people with a 13th, 14th gen CPU who are going to buy Ryzen next time. That's just the reality, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
One of my friends has said to me, why did you tell me to get an i5? I should have got a Ryzen. I knew I should have done it. I was like, I didn't say to get anything. You said, you said he was going to get an i9. And I said, no, get the i7 or just get the i5 or whatever. I didn't actually say.
Yeah.
Because I would have said get Ryzen. So
I talked you down from the i9 because you said you wanted that.
yeah. But it's a shame, though, but it's ultimately not something people, you know, you can't really see it coming, can you? So there it is. But if you look back on the number of builds we've done on the channel, I would wager the vast majority of them have been Ryzen, because that's the way I would build at the moment. So it's kind of just naturally been that way anyway. And I feel like we've done Intel ones more for comparison, or if you have wanted to do productivity on the side as well, then obviously Intel has been good because it's meant you've had loads of those efficiency cores, which is good for all your productivity. So there was definitely a reason to go for Intel, but I just think for most gaming purposes, the Ryzens have been a fair bit better, other than something like the 12400F. That's been actually the chip, hasn't it? The Intel chip we've been recommending more than anything else. 12400F, which as far as I know is not affected. It's just 13th and 14th gen.
13 and 14.
So yeah, we haven't really been recommending the Intel ones anyway, and this was clearly just the final.
I think any of the PC builds we've done lately haven't even used an Intel CPU anyway, so it's a bit like.
We've done a few. We did one. We did a sponsored one actually, for a Gigabyte one a few weeks ago, didn't we? I think it was a Z board. It's just difficult because if the whole mess hadn't happened, it would just be the same story as always. There's an absolutely good, solid reason to go for Intel. But then I think for a lot of people, half of that just comes down to they've always had Intel, they've been reliable. They don't have to want to worry about any teething issues, not that Ryzen's anything new. And then obviously that's kind of turned itself on its head now, hasn't it? So
yeah,
it's just disappointing really, isn't it? But hey ho, these things happen. At least they have issued people with extended warranties, and they obviously will replace any damaged chips and things. But
we've not done an Intel build since before Computex.
No, that sounds about right. I'm just plugging in all the power connections.
Yeah, which is when obviously the issues started, and then it's a bit like, well, you can't really make a video to promote a product that has many issues.
Well, as I say, if we weren't really doing many builds with them anyway, that was kind of the reason.
Yeah.
That the final, as I say, final nail in the coffin. But it's just the power consumption of the CPUs for me personally has meant that you need much better cooling, which is more expensive and then generates more noise. And that alone for me is a reason to go for Ryzen before you start talking about anything else like price and performance. So yeah, I don't know, disappointing, but I don't know. So anyone that's watching this that does obviously have one of these chips, how do you feel about it? Is it going to stop you buying Intel again?
You need to tell people to like and subscribe, Marcus.
Like and subscribe this video.
They can't even see your head again.
I'm here. Like and subscribe the video. And if we get enough likes on this video, next video we will build the Ryzen 4070. Okay, just for you, the Ryzen RTX 4070.
A Ryzen 4070.
Isn't that Zach's Tech Turf joke?
Yeah, Was it somebody? Was it? It wasn't him that said it, was it? It
No,
was like
someone in the comments.
Someone asked him.
I think so. I was going to see, wasn't I, whether there's actually any room for cables around the back. There's not, is there? I can't see how the...
Oh, for a minute then I thought Daddy had left the chat, but he's still
No,
here.
not
he's
Daddy.
Still here.
Daddy wasn't there.
Daddy's back.
Daddy wasn't there. I don't think there is.
It's backwards. You've got that the wrong way around.
No.
Yeah, that panel is the wrong way around.
No, it's
that
all right.
panel is the wrong
No,
way
it's
around.
fine, mate.
Why has he got the tab at the front?
It's fine, mate. Don't worry
it's
about
the wrong
it.
way round.
Don't worry about it. I don't think there's room. How are you going to fit cables in that?
I can't see it.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was that camera. How are you going to fit cables in that? I mean, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. But to be fair, you do have that.
There's a like, hook.
Yeah, there's a hook at the top, so it's not actually quite so bad.
I think it's more for like a fan cable, doesn't it?
Yes, probably. I'll tell you what it's probably for. It's if you've got like a cooler or something and a short cable, it'll feed down. But there's no holes at the bottom either, so
Maybe
no.
like for radiator fan cables, hook them around the top maybe.
This is at least quite a flat cable. Is that even going to fit? No, that doesn't even fit. Nope.
Nope.
No, there's the cable management, unless I'm doing something incredibly wrong, is not there for this.
How many PCs do you build a week on average? I would say
1.2, probably. Would you say?
Yeah.
Some weeks it's 2, others it's 1.
Yeah.
So
this week has been 1. And then it'll probably be 1 tomorrow.
no, 2.
So that'll be...
This is number 2, and I'm doing 1 tomorrow, so that'll be 3.
What was the first one?
Oh,
That would have been last week, wouldn't it?
That was last week's.
So,
Don't know. Yeah. I feel like chat are waiting for some more entertainment, and we've got too serious. Anything you want to add? Funny
no.
stories? You got any funny stories?
Not really.
Generally?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I've been up to. My niece and nephew came round again today.
Yeah?
They were very loud again.
I enjoyed meeting them yesterday. I got a lot of enthusiasm.
They were very excited, actually. I gave them a teddy. One was a Princess Peach and one was a Luigi. They were very grateful, but they did ask, "Where's Mario?" And I was like, I don't know that one, sorry.
So you let them down?
I did.
You let down kids. Sad times. How old are they?
7 and 4? Maybe?
That's like
No.
the crazy stage, isn't
Maybe.
it?
I think they're...
Disappointing like kids is really sad because you see their faces drop.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry.
He's like, I didn't mean to.
No, I'm really sorry. Please don't be sad. Okay, power supplies in. That was actually really easy. You were wrong. You said, oh, ATX be problem. No, look.
No, look.
But you can also move it down as well. That's quite cool with this. So if you wanted to put like a large radiator in at the top, obviously you wouldn't if you had this cooler there, obviously. Yeah. But you could shift that down and then you've still got decent thickness.
Yeah.
So I could think cooling's decent. If you want to put fans at the bottom, that's going to get problematic though. You could put a couple of fans here.
Over there, yeah. You could
but
probably get 2 120s over there, maybe.
I guess what you would potentially be able to do in this would be a 360 at the bottom, you have fans underneath and then the radiator.
I think you can also mount it on like this side panel as well.
Yeah, you've got a side panel. So there's a lot of cooling options. On the website, it gives you all the suggested ways of using this, but this is kind of AP201 style is the way I've tried to do this today. But okay, I'm pretty pleased. Shall we move on to the graphics card? The most exciting part of any gaming PC build. This one is from Pallet, which I've just found out Pallet not... Did Pallet sell in the US? Didn't we have this discussion?
You said it was Gainwood over there.
Maybe, or something like that.
I think there's another one that's like they're like KFA2.
Well, when I tried to find this on the US, I couldn't find it. So yeah, but this is a RTX 4060.
And Galax, that was it.
Galax.
Galax and KFA2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a pink one.
Well, whilst Carl's talking about pink GPUs, I'm going to talk about this one. This is one of the few 40 series that does actually... That is very pink, isn't it?
It is very pink. Look at that pink 47.
Wow, you're going to have to put that in the chat now. Anyway, you've got an 8-pin on the top rather than the 12-volt high-power connection, which is good because if you stepped it up to something like an RTX 4070, you'd have to use one of these adapters if you didn't have the appropriate connection on your power supply. But the PSU we're using here does actually come with a 450-watt suitable cable for PCI Gen 5, which is good. And it does mean that you'd get a cleaner and tidier build, but because this is just one 8-pin, honestly, it makes no difference, and I know a lot of people are quite comfortable with this connection. Runs very cool, quiet, not much going on here. I feel like if you, for the money actually, for what you're getting, I think it's reasonable, but some 350, 450 pound dollar graphics cards also kind of feel like this, and that's when you think you've been a bit shortchanged. But yes, not gonna break the bank in the grand scheme of things, but you still got loads of performance with a 4060, and you get access to DLSS and also DLSS frame generation. But as we've said before, on a 4060, I find that the latency can get a bit high. So I'd say if it was me personally, I'd probably have it turned off. So that's frame gen, not super resolution. I'd have frame gen turned off more often than have it turned on, personally speaking. I think that'll be the main improvement with the next like 50 series. Oh, what's going on here? All right, fair enough. Don't laugh at me.
I was just watching, like, I wonder who's going to notice that big old thumb screw in the way.
Yeah, like ruining the case, yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the biggest difference, which will upset everyone, obviously, between the 40 series and the 50 series. I reckon DLSS frame gen will have a lot lower latency penalty, which will make it much, much more useful. Because at the moment, even on a 4090, when I was playing Alan Wake 2 max settings, I find that DLSS frame gen adds too much lag, even on a 4090, so I've turned it off. So I've actually chosen like 70, 75 FPS over 120 because the latency is nicer, and that's with a controller too. But only really affects you if you're using frame gen and ray tracing. If you're just using frame gen and no ray tracing, probably going to be all right. Is that enough spiel?
Yeah. The end of it. I was just going to summarize, like, lower FPS plus frame gen, bad. Higher FPS plus frame gen, better.
Oh, pretty much. Where is the motherboard box?
Over there on the floor. I put it out of the way.
Oh, because this, obviously, as I said, this doesn't have PCI Gen 5, but this doesn't. Right, here's what's weird, right? This doesn't have.
They're bringing out that new one, aren't
exactly, and that's why I'm like doing a double take. I'm like, before I commit to this, I want people to like 100% be sure on this. So this has the top slot is PCI Gen 4 X16. Great. And the reason that's important is because a lot of graphics cards are PCI Gen 4, but they're only AX. So you see this is actually a lot smaller. I'll put it on the overhead so you can see it. Like you see the physical connection here. It's only half the width. So if I get a 16X, put them side by side, do you see the difference? Like it's literally half the length, look. And that obviously means you've got half the connections, half the bandwidth. So if you're using a motherboard that only has PCI Gen 3, then it's going to result in a bottleneck, almost certainly in a lot of games, or at least some games, because you won't be able to access all of the power and all of like the shared memory, all of the stuff that's going on. It's not going to work so well. So just make sure your motherboard does support PCI Gen 4. And as Editor Carl is pointing out, the new upcoming, what's it called? Weird
B850 will be the new.
Yeah, B840 is only PCI Gen 3, so it's chocolate teapot, useless. Do not buy it. Like, I don't know why anyone would buy that for gaming. Like, it's a joke. It makes me angry.
There was like a big problem. Was it the 5500 XT? Terrible GPU, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
But that came out, and that was only PCIe Gen 4.
Yeah.
But Gen 4 motherboards weren't really a thing.
Yeah.
So it was terrible on anything older, which is where you would have been using that budget GPU with. That USB-C cable has been hella bent.
Yeah. So fun times. So yeah, don't buy B840. If you buy a B840, unless you've started building it, take it back. Don't use it.
Especially when you can just use the B650.
Well, you got A620, like we're using here today, which is a cheap platform, and it does support PCI Gen 4. I almost thought it was a typo. Maybe they've just, they don't want to like correct it. I don't know. It's bizarre why anyone would want that, but there we are. RTX 4060 is in. Shame it's not white. That would work quite well in here, but The white cooler looks a bit out of place, Carl. We should have gone with a 36 and black.
Told you.
But when we
Like you were like, oh, it's white though, and then everything else you proceed to use is black. It's like
it's fine.
Now the cooler looks out of place in a white case.
Once you put that panel on, everything will miraculously be okay.
Then the white cooler wouldn't have mattered.
It was fine. Now look, when I put this panel on, you're going to be like, whoa, Marcus is right about everything. What a legend. That's what you say to me every day. That's like the ritual, isn't it? You come in and you remind me just how great I am.
Yeah. I've got like one of those like famous quote boards just ready to go every day.
Yeah, I am great.
You go,
Marcus,
girl.
yeah. You go, girl. Yeah.
Who rules the world?
Where are you going with this?
I don't know. It's just like famous quotes. I've been house viewing.
Oh yeah.
And this when it's like they had like a baby room, obviously where the baby lives and sleeps.
Baby lives.
It's where the baby lives.
Yeah.
And they had a poster in there. She must have been like she was in like a cot crib.
Was it the PC Centric poster that's not actually for sale just yet, but will be coming soon eventually?
No.
Okay.
They didn't have the PC Centric. It just had like a poster that said like "Girls rule the world."
All right.
I thought that was like really cute. I was like, she
Did
can't
she
even
put
read.
it up herself?
She can't even read. I was like, that's quite cute. She had
Yeah.
a really big mirror as well. Ellie was jealous of the mirror.
When you're losing to a baby, you do know.
Yeah. I was like, this room's better than mine. And it's a baby.
Right. I think we're pretty much cooking on gas now, ladies and gentlemen, which is always good to see. Whack all of this in there. Happy days. Oh, that was relatively stress-free, actually, wasn't it? There we have our completed PC. Let's hope it works, but... Oh, we've got to flash the BIOS, obviously.
Yep.
It doesn't look great. I'll give you that.
CPU cable looks a bit naff, doesn't it?
The what?
The CPU one.
It does. I just did that. This is the only thing I don't get about this case. What the point of the glass panel is, because I don't.
You don't want to show that off.
I don't see how you would get a really nice looking build if you have to have it like that. Where's the top?
You've got to go like full custom cable lengths and everything. It kind of defeats the point of doing that in a case that's.
Well, it's Lian Li, but I mean, if you want to have a glass panel, I'd say go for the prime case instead of this. Because there is that little bit of room around the back to actually do some cable management. I mean, it doesn't look bad, like, does it? It doesn't look terrible.
No, it looks great.
It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look terrible, but yeah, what's the point really? Instead, just go with the
mesh
that comes in the box. And so anyone that's currently watching this horrified is about to be, that's the wrong way around, isn't it? Anyone that's watching this terrified, don't you worry, it's gonna, no, that was the right way around. Here we go, look, as soon as you put the mesh on, magically everything's fine. Ta-da! It doesn't work when you're not watching, Carl.
I keep not, I'm just reading the chat.
Look, do it again.
They said, okay.
Oh, ta-da!
Ta-da. At least you can see the white CPU cooler.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, told you. So that's the only thing you see.
And I can still see that CPU cable. But
If that CPU cooler was black, I think you would be able to see it.
Well, I can see all the other black stuff still.
Can you though? No.
Oh, that's more obvious. Now you've changed like the angle of it. When it's a little bit like.
No, that's good. No,
if you
rubbish.
set it at an
no,
angle,
no. I'm not having that. That is actually the right component choice. 100%. 100%. Look, all you can see is a bit of the white cooler. That's it. I think that looks good. No. I'm not having this.
A beautiful white box.
Yeah. That's kind of the point, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Why is the cutout so big on the back?
You got to remember, a lot of people don't care as well about.
That is true.
How you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's the synopsis of it. A lot of people don't care.
A lot of people just don't care how it looks.
Do you see why we did this in the live stream? Because I didn't think the thumbnail would look as good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you're going to go,
needs more RGB.
if you're going to go for the mesh panel,
there is no RGB actually. Oh, the
little
RAM.
bit. If you then that's white.
Oh.
And the RAM. If you're going to go for a mesh panel, yeah, I'd say go for this over the Prime.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit smaller. And there's
the Prime you've got is mesh as well.
There's not really any disadvantages, are there?
If you got a black one with all black everything, then you wouldn't see anything.
But the Prime is going to be better if you want to go for a windowed panel, definitely, because you've got that bit of cable management. I mean, I'll demonstrate this very quickly. Oh, I love this Prime. I was going to use it myself for like a living room PC, but I've been using the Pop Mini Air, which is good. So it's it's definitely bigger, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's just not much in it. So panel comes off in the same way. Power supply goes in the same place. But all important, look, cable management. You have a recessed tray. And then round the back, yeah, it's disappointing actually on the Lian Li. I think it's a bit disappointing because it's so good, but with no cable management, it doesn't really make sense.
And it includes
because
fans.
that cable is managed around the back. Oh yeah, and it includes fans.
One or two, just one.
I think just one. Yeah. How much is the windowed AP201?
AP201 mesh is £90.
Oh. Ooh. It's fine, don't worry.
Or £84 for the black mesh on Amazon.
How much for the window?
I can't find the window one. The window one has like, oh, it's the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah, £90.
I think I want to get a windowed one in because I think that's going to be like the dream case for a lot of people.
Guess who's already got an
but,
AP201?
Window.
What?
You?
No, Rivstar.
Well, then why did he need another case then?
How many computers does he have?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like that, the case he had was so big, I wanted it out. I was like, like when cases are the worst thing because they're great for content, but once you're done with them, they're literally just taking up room everywhere.
Big boxes.
So I am, first come, first served. If I say, do you want a case, and you say, yeah, done. Pretty much, as long as you live in the UK. And for anyone saying, oh, that's really unfair, why, blah, blah, blah. I looked it up to send something how much do you think it cost to send a case to the Netherlands?
Netherlands?
Yeah, because someone yesterday said I was in the Netherlands.
I reckon it's something stupid for like a regular person. It's like 130 quid or something.
Oh, wasn't that much. It was like 60, 70 quid though.
Yeah.
Which is the price of the case, and it's used.
Oh.
And it might not travel very well.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'd had to fill in customs forms, so that's the reason. Maybe I'll do something else some point. Right, let me grab a monitor.
I guess I'll just have to entertain people while you are gone.
Well, I'm not gone for very long.
That was quick.
Oh.
Rivstar swapped his CH560 digital for the Morpheus.
Didn't the other person have a C8? Hang on, didn't Rivstar say to someone to get a CH560? And now he's swapped his out.
No, he told someone to get a 4000D instead of the CH560, didn't he? He's going to have to...
No, I think he's done it twice. I think he's told someone to get the case he has, and then he's decided he wants something else, and then the other guy's decided he wants something else. So what's that all about? Anyway, this is not a sponsored section, by the way. I don't know if it's still on sale, but I was not joking when I made the video last week that this is a ridiculously good price. If you want a high refresh rate, IPS, 1440p monitor, this was about £200 last week. Is it still £200?
What's the name of it?
Just click on the link.
I was going to go to the
in the last video. Just because if you are looking for a new monitor and you don't want to like spend a crazy amount of money, honestly, like it's not perfect. As I say, contrast could be a little bit better. Blacks are a little bit raised, but this thing is awesome. Yeah, for the money, it's ridiculous.
£215 on the Lenovo website. And
so it's gone.
$299.
It's gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up on Amazon.
There you go.
But it says out of stock on the Lenovo website.
There you go. I told people to get it while. I mean, it was actually at Curry's. I think it was 200 quid as well.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'll just type in the product name. That will help.
Was that Curry's Business? Is that who's buying gaming monitor and like, business? It was weird. Anyway, shall we get this turned on?
Because I think up to 300 again now.
See, there you go.
Sad
People
times.
need to listen to me. Well, they don't. They can do what they want.
He didn't tell him to swap case. They both had a CH560.
Exactly. Two people. I don't know. I'm just generous giving these cases away. Oh. Right.
Fingers crossed that this works. Come on, Marco. Show your skill. You've
I've
got this.
plugged in the wrong cable. Sorry.
I tidied it up nicely as well.
Oh, there's another one here. Where's this one for?
I don't know.
Is a 5 amp. That'll do.
That'll do.
Just talk amongst yourselves. Don't worry about it.
There is somebody underneath. That's for the screen. Don't unplug that one.
Oh, we've got to go in.
Up there.
No.
Above the desk.
No.
Above the desk. No. Live stream over.
No, it's that was just for the standing desk. It's fine.
The desk is already standing.
Exactly. Oh.
Have you got a HDMI?
A what?
HDMI.
I can go DP.
Deep.
Director of photography.
Yep. Have you got a
It's
DisplayPort
plugged in.
cable?
It's plugged into that
Okay.
monitor there.
That's what I thought.
Woo!
We're going mobile.
Going mobile. Did we actually focus
Is
all
that
of
the right cable?
the cameras?
Dunno.
That camera looks suspiciously not in focus to me.
Which one?
The one that camera 2.
Oh, it looks sharp on here.
Oh, it is alright, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, fair enough.
Oh, I just kicked the camera.
Oh, disaster. Right, okay. DP, please, thank you. Then we need to connect this up.
Geekawatt has joined the chat.
Oh, Geekawatt said to me the other day he was sad
Why?
because he hasn't got the AMD chips yet, and I told him to get over it. I was really helpful. No, it was actually really nice. I was like, well, it took me ages for AMD to sample me, and to be honest, in terms of like performance, you're not missing out on much. And AMD often asks for them back really unhelpfully very quickly, so you're better off buying them anyway.
If you just get a Sharpie and write a 9 over the 7 on the
I'm not sure that's a
7600,
scientific test.
No one's going to notice.
Yeah.
Unless you do like a Corona benchmark and it gets like 10% more FPS.
Geekawatt.
More points, sorry.
Corona benchmark.
Yeah.
Is that anything to do with the events?
No, nothing
unrelated.
to do with the disease.
Okay.
Is it a disease or virus? Whatever.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Virus.
Out of focus live stream, bin the lot, says Geekawatt.
He would say that, wouldn't he?
He would say that.
Does he do live streams anymore?
He did a live stream once before and then he threw the motherboard on the floor. I've never seen him do one since.
Threw his toys out the pram, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to flash the BIOS. That would help.
Ah, yeah. I think he lifted up the case and the motherboard fell out and it like, broke in half.
Basically, what he's saying is he gives up.
What you're saying is he's a quitter.
Yeah. You told me the other day you're not a fan of him.
Nah, I don't like that guy.
No.
Oh, yes, he still is. He's still in the chat.
Yeah, we're just mugging him off as a joke, and it doesn't work because he's got the last laugh because he's not
actually
even
left.
there. He's got better things to do.
Oh no, he's still here.
Oh,
he
good.
sent two blue love hearts because blue is his brand colours.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong bit. That's fine.
You got to plug the USB in the back.
Oh, it was on.
Oh no.
USB at the back? Yeah, where is it?
Don't know. Over there, isn't it?
I don't know. Did you give it? Yeah. Is it on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is the bit I don't like.
Gigabyte.bin.
Gigabyte.bin. Ready? We've got flashing light. Okay. We have a flashing light, ladies and gentlemen. The PC has turned itself on. We've got some RAM. And the Q Flash Plus icon is flashing. Editor Carl will now confirm for us if this is the expected behavior. I imagine that it is. That tiny bit of RGB RAM is pointless. If you're going to buy this, go for non-RGB RAM. But this was basically the same price and speed anyway, so it didn't make much difference. Yeah.
It just flashes a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And then
flashes
it
a
stops
lot.
Flashing.
The clue's in the name.
Q Flash.
Ah, Q Flash Plus.
Is that one?
Yeah.
What's the
It says
ASRock?
it's Q Flash. USB BIOS flashback is the Asus one.
What's the ASRock one? That's got a funny name, isn't it? Easy Flash.
Flash. Easy.
Easy
And what's
Flash.
MSI's one called?
Oh.
This is really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
What
this is
is
the
their
dregs.
BIOS
The dregs of the
upgrade name?
conversation.
The dregs.
Yeah. What's Geeky saying?
Andy Martinez says, I hope Geekawatt mentions PC Centric in his next video.
He won't, but
Geekawatt said always.
If Geekawatt's still here,
Yeah.
you miss the best bit of the live stream when Carl said that Andy was going grey. He was like, "What's grey?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm Andy," suggesting Andy has entirely grey hair.
No, I didn't. I meant
You did.
Andy,
You can't deny it.
I meant Andy Gray, the former.
That's not
Sky
much better.
Sports presenter.
If anything, that's more offensive.
I wasn't calling him Andy Gray.
Andy Gray's #1 fan over here.
You just said you're going grey. I said like Andy, as in like Andy Gray. No.
It'd never be in a live stream ever again.
Goodbye.
Well, it's still flashing, so all good. And then when it's done, it should obviously show you on the display. Make sure that if you have turned this on and you are using it, obviously never ever turn the machine off while it's flashing. That's a big no-no. It would almost certainly brick your motherboard, which would be bad. But read the instructions.
I got a good question for you from Emir. Is a Ryzen 7 2700 still good in 2024?
I saw some benchmarks for that earlier, actually. And again, please remember this with CPUs, because you'll probably notice in most reviews, all of the settings are low at 1080p. And there is a reason for that, and that is to actually exploit all of these, well, exploit's not the right word, expose. They do an expose on the differences, right? Because if you're running a RTX 4050 at 4K, you're not going to be CPU bottlenecked. There is no 4050. There is on the laptops. 4060, you wouldn't notice any difference. So you use the highest end GPU, everything low, 1080p, and then obviously the frame rate is then dictated by the CPU bottleneck, thus you can show the differences. But most people don't have a 4090. Most people play at high settings, or at least medium settings, like 1440p, something like that. So if you're not CPU bottlenecked, it doesn't matter. You know, I guarantee most people watching this, if I put this Ryzen 5 in your system, unless it's a downgrade, you probably wouldn't notice the difference in the vast majority of games because you're not going to be bottlenecked anyway. And this is the reason why we say always prioritize the graphics card over the CPU. So new CPUs are great and they're useful, but unless it's one of these X3D chips, I'm reluctant to use the word exciting. So no, what do you reckon, Carl? K-Man?
K-Man. Yeah, to be honest, I agree. There's not a lot to get excited about. I've still got a 3900X in my PC, and it's a bit like, oh, you know, you probably could get a bit more, but then, you know, the GPU's like a 3070 Ti, so it's nothing. I'm not gonna extract the most out of that by just upgrading the CPU. There's not much to be gained, really.
I mean, do you monitor your bottlenecks? Because that's obviously the best way of doing it. If you look at your GPU load.
Yeah.
Did you say Hogwarts you were bottlenecked?
Yeah. Hogwarts bottlenecked, and I also had the VRAM issues when it first came out. I was like, this game's terrible.
Yeah.
Why do all the textures look awful? Oh,
Why do they
because
keep
my
flashing
GPU
in and
has
out?
8 gig of VRAM, and that's why. Yeah, that was a sad time.
Yeah.
But yes, it's not too bad now. You just need to know your limits, or you know, you upgrade. So.
Yeah, exactly. And for most people, if you're still on AM4, you can obviously go for a 5800X 3D if you want. But I looked the other day, that's still about 270, 280 pounds.
That's what
it's a lot of money.
Puts me off upgrading to like that. I'm like, oh, that's a really drop-in easy replacement. But when it's like £40 more for a 7800X 3D,
yeah,
you're like, oh, you know, at least then do you just commit to the whole platform upgrade?
Yeah, because if you get, that's the thing. If you know you're going to have to buy an AM5 board at some point anyway, then you could just do it now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, the light's gone out.
Oh, GPU light.
I think this is it, guys.
This is it.
This is it.
This
is the moment you've been waiting for. Gigabyte
Perfection.
Ultra Durable. There you go. It's flashing a BIOS is scary, but literally just let it do its thing and you should be fine. Is my advice, really. Right, standby mode. It will just restart a couple of times and then eventually it will come up. There you go, restarting again. Insist on Ultra Durable. What, do they think you're going to go into a shop and go, no, I'm sorry, it needs to be Ultra Durable, guys. If it's not Ultra Durable, not interested. ROG Maximus Hero. It's not ultra durable, mate.
Nah.
Not having it. You're 3% there. Okay, I think it works.
This is when we find out that it's going to moan because you're not connected to
Yeah,
the
this is
internet.
always the moment of truth. If
Oh,
we
it doesn't have Wi-Fi on that board.
So we're screwed.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Unless you disconnect the live stream.
We did that last time and then literally everyone left.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I didn't think that one through. Didn't think that one through, did I? I could get a Wi-Fi card.
Have you not got like a little USB Wi-Fi boy?
No, I actually do have a Wi-Fi card I could put in though. Yeah, well,
I've not found the need for a Wi-Fi card in a very long time.
no. Whereas
always feel
on
like
the previous gen, I was using it all of the time.
I just feel like a plug-in USB one is just fine.
Yeah.
And if you want a good one, you just buy a better one.
I could go find it if you want. I don't know. Are people really that? Well, yeah. Are people really? Yeah, they probably are. Let us know in the comments. Are you? Do you want to see us try and fire up some games on this, or do you want to just look at some benchmarks that already exist? We'll have full benchmarks, by the way, next week as well, where we're gonna.
Yeah.
We can't say anything other than we're going to compare as many chips as possible.
Yep.
So we will have.
We'll have the Ryzen 5 benchmarks.
We will have
They are
a minimum of 2 Ryzen 9000 chips next week, won't we?
Yes. Plus some others that are 7,000
Yeah,
and some blue ones.
yeah. I mean, if we were going to be getting more Ryzen chips in, we would be testing them at some point.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be allowed to say. I
No.
imagine. I don't know. But if we had them, we probably wouldn't be allowed to say we had them.
No.
So, don't know. When we eventually get them in,
Maybe
we'll test them.
maybe there will be other CPUs next week, but
Don't know.
we don't know.
It could be next week. Could be 2 weeks. Who knows?
Could be, could be a year.
Don't know. Don't know what we're on
Unlikely.
about. Let's move on. Yeah. But regardless, you've got a lot of CPU benchmarking to do because we have not finished the ones that we have regardless, do you? You've got to do like your i7s, you've got to do your last gen Ryzen 9s.
Yeah. I've got a question for you here, Marcus, from Germs.
What are those? Yeah. So.
With a 4090 and a 9th gen Intel CPU,
Yeah.
I'm getting like 160 plus FPS on most games, but says only 60 to 70% GPU is being used.
Can I be honest?
Am I being bottlenecked by a CPU?
I didn't hear a word of that. I was just thinking about the computer and whether it's going to work.
Works.
Let me grab the keyboard and then I
60%
promise
utilization.
I will answer
He's
the
lying.
question.
He
Yeah.
doesn't like you.
No, that's not very nice. It's not true. Look, if you want to help out the channel, by the way, best way to do it is to grab a PC Centric mouse mat available at pccentric.store. I'll be honest, I thought that he was going to sell out like instantly, and we still have some left. So yes, I think there's actually going to be a sale going live. Not the best way of promoting them if you want to buy them now, but I'm trying to get a sale going live on these, so they'll be 20% off. I don't know. I don't think that's live just yet. It might be. Do you want to find out? But it should be going live in the coming hours or maybe a day. It's a company in Canada that sorts pricing and stuff out. So yeah, but it should be 20% off in the coming hours. So keep checking back if you want to grab yourself a PC Centric mouse mat and help the channel out. Right, where's my keyboard and mouse? Where is my keyboard? Where are my keyboard and mouse?
I don't know. The USBs were on the desk. The receivers.
Yeah.
You're just going to steal the mouse and keyboard from this one.
Well, there's a Corsair keyboard, so it's here somewhere.
There's a long one there on the
Yeah,
floor.
long boy.
Yeah, there, behind that mesh
Ah,
panel.
there it is. Yeah. Okay, right. We have our. I'm not even using the PC Centric mouse mat. That's funny. But let's get this turned on, shall we?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might be all right. Hang on.
You're right.
Hang on a minute, sons.
Windows. It looks like it could be a local account, which would be handy.
That would be handy. That's handy, Harry.
That'd be handy.
Right. This is a good shot now, isn't it? Let me. Here.
Yeah.
Someone's put a keylogger on.
They can see the reflection in your glasses.
Well, I've just entered the wrong password in anyway, so.
Poor Germs. He's never going to find out if his GPU is being bottlenecked now or not.
I think we're in luck, guys. I think we're in luck. Yay! There we are.
Fan speed just ramped up.
Rapid, but yes, we will. We just need to tune that. It's because we've refreshed the BIOS, which obviously resets everything, which means you're more likely to.
Oh, God, did you do XMP? DOCP?
No, you know I didn't do XMP. This is the wrong mouse.
Well, I don't
is your
know.
mouse still working?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have I not plugged the receiver in? No.
That would help.
Tell you what, the quality of this live stream right now is off the friggin' charts.
The live stream. We're at our peak at the moment.
Look, this is the best bit now. Look, you got your PC Centric mouse mat,
Gaming.
keyboard. Look at that. Look, especially if you have a tin keyless keyboard, this is the perfect size
Tin.
mouse mat as well. Look, oh, look at
Tin
that.
keyless.
Tin?
That's what you said.
I would never say
You
tin.
said tin keyless.
No, I'd never say such a thing. Do you want to install something? No. What am I doing?
Answering Jerms's question. Is his 4090 being bottlenecked by his i9 9900K?
One more time, and I'll answer it whilst you get me some NVIDIA drivers, please.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you. Right, what was the question? I'm here.
RTX 4090.
Yes.
i9 9900K.
99.
The first i9.
Oh, what?
i9 9900K.
Okay. Is that okay?
Is he being bottlenecked? Is that going to be bottlenecking his
It's not something I've
4090?
tested recently, but again, it depends on the game and the resolution. But that, I imagine, yes, because the GPU was the. I'm really bad at listening.
The 4090.
Yeah, the 4090. Yes, you'll get bottlenecking with that because a 7800X 3D is still bottlenecking a 4090 in certain titles. But again, it depends on the titles, depends also on the settings and how optimized the game is. So Call of Duty Warzone is better than it was when that first came out. It was really, really CPU bottlenecked. Still not like crazy different, but with the 9700X that just launched, which is kind of like i9-ish level, the current Gen i9, that was fine at 4K with DLSS, but as soon as it was 1440p, it was bottlenecking. So yes, you will find that if you upgraded your CPU, you would probably get a fair bit better performance, I'd wager. I mean, can't give you firm numbers, but in certain titles, yeah, like 20 to 50 FPS more at certain settings, I'd say easy.
Yeah. Well, if you think the 7800X 3D can quite comfortably outperform like the 13600K and even the 13900K and 1400K in a lot of games, then yeah, it must. There's definitely room to be gained with a 4090.
Room to be gained.
Room FPS to be gained.
How many people have left the stream now that we've finished the build?
Like 10.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, thank you, guys.
Everyone, this is what people are here for.
Honestly, that actually means a lot. The live streams are our favourite things for two reasons. One, it means we don't have to edit anything.
Yeah, that's always good.
And Editor Car doesn't like that.
Editor Carl likes when he doesn't have to edit.
Yeah, exactly. And it obviously means we actually get like a way to talk to you directly. And there's very few ways to do that, like properly. Discord and stuff's quite good, but obviously it's a bit more one-on-one. I'd say for the bear in mind we're obviously trying to talk to a lot of people. I think this is always the nicest way of doing it. And as always, if you have any questions, do just like let us know in the comments. There you go, gigabyte.bin. That was what you had to call the BIOS for that. The BIOS for that board.
BIOS facts with Marcus. Is a 4060 better than a PS5?
It may surprise a lot of people to know that I love this generation of consoles. I think they're among, I don't want to say the best we've ever had, because things change a lot, and PS2 was obviously like the GOAT, and for what it was, the Wii was phenomenal, phenomenal, and like everything it did. Oh, I can install that. That's fine. Oh, stop laughing at me.
Just click the green one every time.
Yeah. But this generation of consoles, I think, is awesome. Even like this rumored PS5 Pro isn't really necessary, is it? Because I think it will be good, but most games are still running at dynamic res 60 FPS, which for a console is great. And when you play, like God of War Ragnarok, I'm happy to go out on a limb here and say that I think that, in my opinion, is my favourite game I've ever played. Honestly, my favourite game of all time. God of War Ragnarok is ridiculous. And the way it looks is insane as well. And you think that's on a whole system that you could get for what? Like, on a good day, 400 quid?
Yeah.
You know, really, really good. There's loads of downsides. Like, the games are... I know relative to inflation, they're not ludicrously expensive, but when you think on, like, a gaming PC, you can get games for, what?
Less.
Way less.
Yeah.
It still seems like quite expensive, but I think if you're not interested in like the whole PC side of things, consoles are just such a good way of getting really high-end gaming at an affordable price. So, yeah, I like console gaming. What was the point I was trying to make?
PS5 better than a 4060?
Ooh. They're different experiences. I would honestly say that I think PS5 is going to give you a smoother overall experience because it's set up for you at the box. But there will be titles you'll be capped at 30 FPS, which will be rubbish. And for the 4060, you can easily get over 100 FPS in a lot of games and use a mouse and keyboard, which is way better.
Oh, that segues great into our next question.
Yeah.
Do you think a good mouse is an important part of a PC building? PC
Oh, 100%.
setup?
The three most important components to a gaming rig are the gaming mouse, the monitor, and the graphics cards. Those are your key three things that determine how good your experience is. Like, would you like to challenge that?
No, I agree. I always find it funny when if I talk to someone who's not like a PC gamer and they're like, "Oh, how much is your mouse?" Even if it's just like a budget like Logitech G305 or something.
30 quid or something.
Like 30, 35 quid. And they're like, cool, what, you spend that on a mouse? I'm like, yeah.
That's not much. 30 quid is not much
That's
for a
like
mouse.
that's like the minimum I would spend for like an okay mouse. And then, yeah, I've got like obviously the G Pro Superlight and the MX Master. Sounding like a Logitech fanboy, but it's fine. Like, they're expensive mice, and you definitely notice the difference when you use like a £10 mouse compared to just
easy.
a £30 mouse.
I mean, you can get a G Pro Superlight, which is my mouse of choice now, for on a good day, again, like £65 or something, and it's such a phenomenal mouse. It makes such a big difference. Really do recommend it. Just getting a decent gaming mouse, because that's how you interact with your PC. Like, it would be like, I don't know. I don't know. It would be like upgrading your, if you could upgrade your ARM, like if you could pay for an ARM upgrade, I don't know. Somehow.
Go to a Ripper dock.
Yeah, go to a Ripper dock and get that sorted out. It's the way you interact with your gaming PC. Elon Musk, oh, don't get me started about Elon Musk these days. But Elon Musk, ages ago, I remember listening to a podcast he was on, and it was an interesting point. He was talking about latency between, like, what is Neuralink is what that system. He was saying the biggest problem humans have for like interacting with the internet and the wider world, if you like through the web, is latency, because the time it takes you to look something up, or all of that stuff, like the way you interact, that is really slow. So that's why he wants to put a chip in your brain, and then your brain can just like do it right, really, really quick. And yeah, kind of like a gaming mouse is the same thing, but for gaming.
Yeah.
That was not the way of saying it.
That was
terrible.
The way, no.
It's kind of thinking about too many things at the same time.
I was going to say, I watched an interesting video the other day. It was how to get good at RuneScape.
Yeah, it seems like something you would.
And one of the things he did recommend was, like, buy a good mouse. Stop trying to, like, don't expect to be a pro and then you're still using a terrible mouse. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get, like, a good gaming mouse now.
No, not at all.
You can get, like, a SteelSeries one for, like, £20, like, a wireless. I think the Rival 3 wireless is, like, 25 to 30 quid. And it's, like, a solid wireless mouse. You don't have to spend a lot.
No.
Especially wired, even, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like wireless because it just keeps everything nice and neater,
Tidy.
but
Yeah,
it's hardly essential, is it?
Yeah.
What should we go for graphics? High or very high? Should we go for high?
What game are we playing? Oh, Forza Horizon.
Horizon. Yeah, that's everything, isn't it? Oh, I need some FPS counters. Afterburner, please. Thank you. I don't care about the update server. Don't need it. Don't need it. There you go. Right, we're in. Okay, let's do it. There you go. The solution, Carl, is local accounts. So let's remember this. Let's use this SSD next week.
We'll put it in right on the box.
I think that overlay's a bit big.
Nah, people need to see the numbers.
I
They
mean,
might be watching on a phone.
To be fair, they can see the numbers now. This is a good point. I've never asked this before. Is how big do you want the overlay? Is this too big or is this all right?
Bigger
Is this going to ruin your benchmark? Or have you got a manual save?
There is a manual save. It's in this area. The
Okay.
benchmark is in this area. Do not
please
progress
don't,
the story
Please
anymore.
don't say I'm in the same area that I've been for so long.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't progress. I was like, this seems like a nice place to just run around, do the same thing for about, just over a minute or so.
The RAM's gone red.
And flashy.
I think it's got an integration with the game.
Oh, nice.
Nice!
Nice.
No ice. I would definitely turn the fans down though, guys, because they don't need to be this...
I got a question from the Acid Complex.
What are those?
That's the name of their...
No,
YouTube.
what are those?
Oh.
Officer, I got one question for you. What are those? What are those? Have you never seen that? So you've just been humouring me this whole time.
I vaguely remember it from
All right,
a while ago.
just what?
I was just going to ask you this question.
Okay.
It said fairly new to the channel. Oh, we just got. I'll do that in a second. Fairly new to the channel,
Yeah.
the world of PCs. But quick question: how did you get so good at this? How did you know about all these parts?
You're just gonna do
Where
it.
did you study?
Just do it, really.
Just do it. Just watch YouTube videos.
It's anything. You just learn. It's like, I don't know. Let's say you're a nuclear physicist. That's not me, I'm afraid. How you get to be a nuclear physicist? You just learn about nuclear physics.
Yeah, but you go to university, you study all these sorts of
Well,
things.
exactly.
To build a PC, you don't need to.
If you build one PC, then you know how to build that particular PC. If you did the same PC again, you would know how to build that PC more efficiently. So now imagine you're building 1 or 2 PCs every single week. You're constantly keeping up with all of the news. You're going to events. You're being trained on architecture, and your knowledge just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, right? So I don't know that much about AI, but I know a surprisingly larger amount about AI than I used to, and about how it all works. Because again, you just take it in all of the time. Right, here is our game. Can yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah.
That's coming across fine. Here is our game.
We just got a super chat from A-Telly.
Super chat. Yeah.
What CPU should I pair with a 4070 Super that can handle streaming, editing, and gaming?
4070 Super.
Yeah.
Either a 7700 or a 7800 X3D.
Yeah, depending on how much money you want to spend.
Yeah, I'd say so. So I'm not allowed to talk to Avad.
No.
You can just load the save. Look, it's fine. Yeah. Have you got manual saves?
Okay, good.
Have you got manual saves?
I don't know. I think there's just loads of saves.
Sorry, this is not very interesting, guys. I think there is a way to autosave. Anyway, all right, I won't talk to her then. Fine. Oh no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're offline. Anyway, okay. So here we are in our game.
Connected to the internet, it's going to ruin the cloud.
We're currently set to. I'll say no. We're currently set to high settings. We've got DLSS on quality, and as you can see, game looks really, really nice. And we're currently getting 81 FPS. This isn't too shabby, is it? Not for a mid-range build. We were speaking about the 4060 earlier, what it can produce. This is a pretty good example, and it's also a game that does hit the CPU quite hard as well. You can see our utilization there around about 50, 60, 70%. And the other thing as well with video games is, don't forget, a lot of them now will do the shader compiling, and that is a lot quicker on higher core count CPUs and faster CPUs. So this actually took a fair amount of time, whereas if we were on an 8, 12, 16 core chip, you'd notice that the shader compile would happen a lot quicker, but it only does that usually once per game, or at least once per game update. But if you open the game up next time, it shouldn't have to do the shader compilation again. But yeah, that is at the high preset. If we want to go and change this to the very high preset, we'll see what that does. Years of hostility. Hasn't changed it too much, about 70 FPS now. What were you getting before?
About 80, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Not
so
much.
so you have definitely lost a bit of FPS, but I would say the game does noticeably look slightly better. If you wanted to turn DLSS off entirely, which you really don't need to, but if you... Oh. That'll be why. It's doing it again, Carl. We did this last time.
What? What's it doing? Is the resolution?
It's the resolution. It's loading everything at 1080p.
That's fine. It's a 4060.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want that.
I didn't want that.
I thought this was at 1440. I did think it looked a little bit soft. Oh, it's the way we're streaming this. It like takes this rather than the 1440p display, even though we're currently set to 1440.
Because it's plugged into the capture card, which is limited to 1080.
If we set this to windowed, that's a right pain, isn't it? Why is it?
It don't work.
Well, we'll just have to do 1080p then, I guess.
That's a 4060. It's what it's designed for.
Yeah. All right. Fine. No, it's just annoying though. All right. So it's not 1440. This is 1080p. I guess this is a better test for the CPU. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan. Obviously, you'll get a lower frame rate if you're playing this at 1440p, but you can use DLSS to get there, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, right, there we go. 1080p, reflex on, and we'll turn DLSS off entirely, or can we have the native? No.
We got a nice comment from Lord P. He said, "Hey yo, this is live. Hello from the US. Love your content. Mad late 80s high energy vibes."
Yeah, that's what this is all about. High energy vibes. So this is now without DLSS. No, it's not. That's balked, isn't it? That's not working properly now. There's no way we've dropped down that much. I think I've ruined it.
We got a super chat.
DLLA. Let's try that.
We've got a super chat.
But why is the frame rate so low?
Because it's a 46. Oh, you broke it now. It's
I
only
said-
30
that's what
FPS now. What did
I
you
know,
do?
that's what I mean. I've broken it. It's PC gaming for you. It's
That person that was saying about PS5 earlier.
yeah.
There's more flexibility, but also more issues.
You could just restart the game.
Maybe
I think. Oh no.
Oh no, 1 FPS. You've broken this. What did you do to it?
I don't know. I turned DLSS off. Does DLSS really make that much difference? I don't think so. It's not going to double your frame rate. Where are we going?
We got a super chat, Marcus.
DLSS.
We'll get to you.
Oh, maybe we had it on.
Don't worry about it.
Actually, maybe we had it on DLSS balanced. Maybe that was why. No.
Just broke
We
it.
didn't. We just broken
it.
it. All right. Well, you saw what we were getting.
We did get 60, 70 FPS.
We did get 60 or 70 FPS,
And
but
then Marcus tried to make it windowed, not windowed, change resolution, he broke it.
sorry. Let's go again.
Why does it do that on Windows 11?
I don't know.
Stupid. We got a super chat, Marcus.
I know, but look, I've got
We've got a super chat.
For those wondering, this will actually be quite useful all the way because a lot of people are wondering how you set up MSI Afterburner. So download it. It's really good. It's free. They do try and make you install some bloatware or something now. Don't. Just say no to that. Then you go into the little cog, which is here, and then it comes up with this. Go to monitoring. Notice what your GPU is. So this one, GPU 2, is our 4060. So here you can just find all your GPU 2s, select them, show an on-screen display. It is that simple. So GPU 2 memory clock. You can hold down shift as well if you want. I've still got more CPUs. I've got more CPUs to show as well. And you can also set this up here if you want your frame time. I have it on as a graph. You can choose whether you want it as text or a graph. You can change the colors, do all of this stuff. It's quite good. I've never actually used frame rate average. Should we try that?
Yeah, could do.
GPU, yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Right, let's proceed. Is this interesting? Is this what people want to see?
What other games have we got on there?
Well, it's just going to be Starfield because the other two are online. But that's okay.
You ready for the super chat now?
Super chat. Yep.
Yep. W3BB Gaming.
What's who?
W3BB Gaming.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I should have got that. Apologies.
What CPU would you pair with a 4060 Ti 16 gig?
Have you already bought the 16 gig?
Did you already make the mistake of buying the 4060?
Right, that's too strong. And I'll tell you why. For the first time ever, I actually recommended some 4060 Ti's.
16 gig.
No, 8 gig in the Amazon sale that they had a few weeks ago, because it was basically the same price as the 4060. So it was actually worth considering. By the way, as I showed you, do you see what I mean about shaders and things now? Look at that CPU usage. This is really important because while I'd still recommend that you prioritize the GPU, it does make a big difference. Look, all of those cores are running flat out.
How hot is the CPU right now?
It's not.
You've not got a CPU temp
It's not got
there.
a CPU temperature. Oh, it's done it. That was quick. For Starfield, that was rapid. Do you see that? It's done.
Done. What CPU would you recommend with a 4060 Ti 16 gig, Marcus?
So we've established he's already bought the card, right?
Yeah.
Again, like if you bought it at a decent price, fine, but it's just not the best value thing.
Chat is raging because you're not replying.
7700 again. 7700. If it's not that much more, 7800 X3D. But when you look at the pricing, the 7700 is quite a lot lower than the 7800 X3D, and you can just upgrade it later anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Or a 7600 would probably be fine.
Yeah.
It's only a 4060 Ti 16 gig. It's not going to get bottlenecked by the 7600.
Oh, you know why?
Don't bother with the 9000.
It's because it's a new CPU. The other, it did this last time. Because it's a new CPU, like, it doesn't show up. You have usage, but the sensor's not available.
The MSI after, but it's we don't have internet. We can't.
No, it's fine. What we can do, open IQ.
Oh.
So, I mean, I imagine it's been running this whole time, actually.
Draining resources.
Oh God, I've got that afterburner twice.
On top of it.
Oh God. They have changed the sensors on the new Ryzen chips, just as an FYI though, so they're not apples to apples comparisons. But yeah, they do run quite efficiently. That's what's good about this. Where's the CPU temp even? Oh no, it's there, I think. Oh, honestly, this is abysmal. Right, here we are. Is that the temp? I can't see. The thing's too big. Is that the temp? What is it with this, honestly? How do I go in and increase? There you go, right. So the highest we've had so far is 53 degrees. We got there in the end. Okay, right, Starfield, let's go. But I mean, for anyone watching this that thinks, oh, they've not organized this in the best possible way, this could be slicker. This is the slickest we've ever had the gameplay running in the live streams, so screw you. Right, here we are, Starfield, and this is, I imagine, running at 1080p again. Oh, look, that's a surprise, it's running at 1080p. But that's okay. Dynamic resolution, absolutely not. Works quite well in practice, but no. And we set this to 90, shall we? And then we use DLSS. Yeah, okay. I think you can, you can override it, which is quite nice. So if you wanted to say, all right, 80%.
Plus DLSS quality.
I think it's tied together.
Right.
You can have frame gen if you want it, but right now we just leave this as it is. Everything else is on ultra. Would you agree with that, Carl?
Yes, it looks like it from here.
Looking like an ultra settings day. Let's see. Oh, big explosion. And yeah, decent frame rate. And we are obviously in a cave, so the frame rate here is going to be higher than it would be outside. So take these numbers with a slight pinch of salt. But yes, as you can see, we're getting around about 93 FPS. In terms of the utilization, we're not anywhere near 100%. Oh, that's our teammate, Sam Coe. Oh, is he dead?
Probably is now.
Oh, no. Mr. Coe. All over. I don't like the key bindings for this. I find... Oh, God, I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
Isn't it? They're always awkward.
Oh, disaster. There you go, around about 70 FPS or so. But, of course, you can use DLSS frame generation to increase your frame rate. This is why 4060 is just a good all-round card, really. It works well at 1440p too. Just obviously you will get lower frame rate. If you want DLSS turned off entirely, and then we'll say, okay, render resolution now 100%. What's that going to do? That will obviously give us a lower frame rate, I imagine. Yeah, slightly, about 75 FPS or so. Big explosion again. You see, obviously FPS did drop during that explosion, as you know you'd expect, really. But yeah, about 79 to 80 FPS or so. Let's see if we can go somewhere else. Let's go to the Coe estate. Yes, load E. Why does double clicking it not do it? Silly. Right. So here we are inside 80 FPS, but as soon as I leave, let that SSD do its quick loading. He says.
He says.
Yeah, that wasn't that quick. It should be quicker than that, shouldn't it? Starfield. Hey, right, here we go. And now we're outside. Yeah, this is like your true frame rate, really. This is as, I don't want to say it's as bad as it gets, but it's definitely the bottom end. You're looking at about 43 FPS or so. So yes, you would want to use DLSS. But this is, again, ultra settings, which you kind of, I wouldn't say you're silly to use, but if you're struggling for frame rate, just set it to high. Makes a lot more sense. Let's set this back to 80. DLSS quality. Oh, hello.
Oh, big flash.
And then, yeah, now we're getting about 60 FPS. And as long as you're setting the resolution manually, you shouldn't have an issue with that. I'd say that looks pretty good. About 60 to 70 FPS or so. So, yeah, decent enough. Frame rate graph is not the absolute smoothest, but seems to be working quite well, to be honest. Can't really complain with that. How much? We're using over 8 gig of VRAM. Are we? No, that's megahertz. I was going to say, so what? That doesn't make any sense. But you can also use frame generation here. So we go back into the game. I would advise having NVIDIA Frame View so you can see the latency as well. But this feels decent enough, to be honest. It's not like a problem, so to speak. But you can tell that the latency has increased. But frame rate has obviously now increased as well. We're looking at about 71 FPS or so when we're outside. So yeah, it runs Starfield pretty decent, but it is a high-end game. Is obviously going to be a little bit more difficult to run. But if you're obviously trying to go for not an entry-level gaming PC, far from it, but like a decent all-round system, that's very much what this is. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. If you have any last questions, please get them in now. If you want to support the channel, obviously, oh, I was going to say overhead, that camera's gone. If you want to support the channel, obviously, PC Centric mouse mat is still available and should be going on sale in the next, like, few hours, maybe 24, something like that. Bookmark it, pccentric.store, and pick one of those up as soon as it goes on sale, and you won't regret it. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed this build. It's been fun. Let's have a look at our rig again. It's done well, just needs the fans tuning, but doesn't really need many changes to it, really. Probably just don't go for RGB memory.
Yeah, GPU's just sat about 65 degrees at the moment.
This is your noise test, but this is all the CPU cooler, so just needs tuning. So not quiet, but no, sorry, not silent, but not loud. 4060 is always going to be a quiet GPU, but obviously if you do have a mesh panel on your desk next to you, that's a lot louder than a normal PC with glass, especially if it's on the floor. But do what you want, you know. I don't. PC can get on the floor; it's perfectly valid. I don't see why people get upset about that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add, Carl?
No, not really. Someone, Mayonnaise said, so is it just a 7600X again? About the CPU.
It's a 7600X.2.
Yeah.
It's not exciting, but the good news is that it will get cheap eventually. I don't want this video to age to the point where it's like terrible, never buy it, because it's a good product. It's just wrong price at the moment, and I think everyone is just disappointed that they didn't take this opportunity to run with it. They've kind of done, I guess, the annoying business decision to give themselves more headroom next time because they're ahead. If they need to come out with something better, they're just like, oh look, here's our next CPU. It's this much better, but why not just like push everything to the limit? But yeah, what's chat saying, Cole?
Yeah. Daddy said, have a good day if you're leaving. Now. Rivstar said it's a 7605X, which sounds about right. Do you recommend the 4060 Ti 16 gig?
No.
No, that's
But
an easy
again,
one.
it's just it's the price, right? It's not a bad product. The 4060 Ti is better than the 4060. Okay, it's a more powerful GPU, and in a lot of games it will be fantastic. But it only has 8 gig of VRAM, which is limiting in games like Starfield if you want to turn the settings all the way up to use that power. And there are AMD options that have way more VRAM for basically the same price with more performance. So, yeah. Not the card I'd recommend, really.
Yeah, pretty much. But King 95 Pro or NZXT H9 Elite?
Both good. Both good.
Yeah.
Depends what you prefer the look of, really. I'll also say I did a GPU buying guide. Not that many people caught it, but we listed all the GPUs we recommended with our affiliate links. By the way, if you want current pricing on this or anything featured in this build, current pricing, as always, is, of course, linked down below. But I did that for the GPU buyer's guide, and only a couple of people noticed that. I did put the RTX 4060 Ti in there, but if you clicked on the link, it took you to Rick Astley.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. I was a funny boy. A few people did notice, so yeah. But thank you so much for watching. Anyway, last comments, Carl. Anything you want to say? Anything anyone else wants to say?
No, just thank you very much for watching, and
Same time next week.
Might see you next week with another CPU.
build. Don't know why.
Don't know, maybe.
We won't be using this CPU.
We won't be using that one again next week.
Guarantee. So we'll
That's
be
a
using a
promise.
different CPU in a live stream next week. Unless the labelling's gone wrong.
Maybe.
Because Intel are launching something next week.
Right?
No, I don't
no,
know.
no.
Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Really
Thanks very
appreciate
much,
it. Have a
everybody.
nice evening. Have a nice morning, wherever you are. Nice sleep if you're that person watching in Australia. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
Oh, we do. Sorry, we're done.
It's like frozen in place until it ends.
Yeah. It's like how far can you push the?